Pressure Project Radio. ThePressureProject.com is our website. Info@ThePressureProject.com is our contact email. ThePressureProjectMembers.com is our membership site. Check it out. So, as it stands right now, are we up?
It says live, yeah.
It says live. I can't see it.
Says live. I'm going to view watch page, refreshing. We should be up.
And there we are.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you guys know we're here every week. We, I don't know whether it's Trump breaking the internet or whatever's going on, but we've had some internet issues the last 2 weeks. We're on every Wednesday from noon to 3 Eastern Standard Time. This is a live show, so you can call in 347-855-8999. What's going on, Pat?
So the member site. That's what I'm going to talk about.
You know what? That's a good idea. Why don't you do that?
That's what I'm going to do. So the membership site, we're getting close to 300 episodes archived. With the way it works on the actual pressureproject.com, only the latest 12 episodes are available. After that, they get archived to the Pressure Project members. Also, we have exclusive members-only episodes that only exist on the member site. Part 2 of episodes, where it's a 1 hour episode, then we have a second hour and a half on the member site. Aside from that, we have a video section. We have the Warrior Continuum, the Loyalty Matrix. Both of those are incredible series. If you haven't seen those, you're missing out a lot. Then we have Strong Dad, Strong Son, another great 10-part series with an extra bonus, so technically 11. We also have the Pressure Con footage, over 6 hours of footage from the Pressure Con. If you're unfamiliar with what the Pressure Con is, there'll be another one shortly, which is also members exclusive. And we have the forum. A lot of our guys sharing power on the forum. And the way you join, $9.99 per month, $50 for 6 months, $90 for a year, $150 will get you 2 years plus a t-shirt plus a live shout out. So that's definitely the way to go. And I have a couple people to shout out. You can choose as far as the shout out goes, first name, full name, or no shout out. So we have a full name, David Anderson, and we also have Luke from Cascadia.
Welcome, David and Luke from Cascadia.
Yep.
All right, so we're always updating the content. It's always something that we're trying to be creative in you know, what we're putting behind the curtain. We want to make sure that the people who are members and supporting us as members do, we want to make sure they're getting content exclusive to them. And it also helps pay the bills. So, I'm on the tail end, and that might be me speaking to my subconscious by saying that, but with some sinus
thing,
respiratory chest thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But I've decided this run to not go the doctor route.
I sometimes decide that too, but I don't think I should sometimes.
Sometimes we should. This time, no. You know, I did my research.
So what are you doing?
And I'm doing my neti pot 2-3 times a day. I am doing the. I bought a was it Advil, like specifically for the sinus, whatever.
Okay.
I was the other day, maybe 3-4 days ago, experiencing like massive
eyeball,
head, tooth pain.
Okay.
You know, because they say your tooth hurts too. So all indicators pointed towards a sinus infection. And I've just been doing what I've been doing, and that's gone away.
Yeah.
So
Josh Stern said sometimes, because we were just talking about this yesterday. I cancel more doctor's appointments than I go to.
Yeah, I have despised doctors. I had to go yesterday with my boys, or with one of them, and then the other. My 4-year-old was having trouble hearing.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, it's fucking spooky, you know, like you don't want to. And then my kids got huge ears. So it's like, imagine my kids walking around with those ears that can't fucking hear. It's like,
yeah,
it's like a 7-foot black guy with a little fucking leash. You know, it's like,
yeah.
So I brought him to the doctor, and the doctor showed his mother and me the actual, like, I don't know what the tool is called.
I think it goes in the ear. The ear scope.
The earscope. The iriscope.
Yeah.
And he showed us the iriscope image. And we actually got to see where the irritation was. So it turns out it was just an ear infection.
Yeah.
So he's on
both ears, one ear?
One ear, but his one ear is like the size of 2 ears. So,
yep.
You know, it would be like a bass drum, not like a snare, like for eardrum. And but it was, you know, it's one of those things where you can't run to the doctor every single time the kid's sick. Especially, you know, in my house, we got 4 kids running around.
Yeah.
If you panic over everything, number one, you're always in a doctor's office. Number two, you never give the kids a chance to build up any sort of immunity.
True.
You know?
And also, you build the culture of them always being at the doctor. It becomes a thing.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So, an otoscope, Ricardo says. It's random trivia that Ricardo knows.
Sounds good.
But it makes sense. So the doctor said he had an irritation, an infection in his eardrum. He probably has some fluid caught behind it. He's like, he thinks he's underwater. That ear, you know, listens like he's underwater. So
I see.
Makes sense. It was great though because
he says, "No, it's an earoscope now."
Earoscope.
Goddamn right, it's an earoscope. Sounds
so
better.
that was Kaiden, the 4-year-old. The 7-year-old also complaining about ear pain.
Okay.
So we got a new doctor for the kids. So we go. We brought Kaiden. Figured might as well bring Kaizen. So my wife goes later on. And what I didn't realize, and this is one of those things, you know, like my kids are homeschooled. Mm-hmm. You know, my kids eat almost exclusively organic foods. I've got the fucking food bills to prove it, but they're all of them are on the thin side.
Okay.
You know? And when you look at, you know, the way kids' body weights are these days, my kids are on the slender side. And the Kaiden not really talking at the doctor's office yesterday. This is a new doctor. Mm-hmm. Kaiden not really talking. And then his weight being on the low end of the acceptable, whatever that means, the acceptable healthy weight, you know, range. You could tell the doctor was a little curious. I guess him doing his job, me being basically anti-authority, you know, my alarm's going off because I'm noticing his questions are starting to follow some sort of a narrative.
I see. Yeah.
And you know, the irony being, Kaiden, once he starts talking, he'll shut the fuck up. So it's not like this kid's got a I don't talk problem, you know? So but it's just that he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
You know? And when he was talking at a noticeably like low volume. You know, just like didn't know where to put his pitch. Sure. So when Kaizen went later on, the 7-year-old, I sent my wife with him. I'm like, you know, you bring. We already know the guy. Everything's whatever. You go. She brings him, and she said that the doctor was like, oh, you know, he's really smart and articulate and talkative. And she used the opportunity to say, well, the 4-year-old's, you know, usually a lot more vocal. She said he can't hear.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. But
that's good. So kind of balanced it out.
Yeah, but the fucking. My house has been like a leper colony like this last 2 months, man. Like, holy
I've experienced
shit.
it where the one's sick and then the other, they all catch it. I pretty much stay ostensibly not sick, even though I probably am, or I gave it to them. Like, that's my MO. Mm-hmm. It's like I get them all sick, but I don't feel the side effects. And then they're all sick for a couple weeks.
Which is often the case with men, I see. We don't have time for that shit.
I don't have time to be sick.
And, well, let me be fair.
Yeah.
Because my wife has less time than I do to be sick.
Yeah, she has no time.
Because I'm still, I tell you, sometimes, you know, I'm down for the count. And I'm not somebody that's always sick.
Yeah.
You know, I hate doctors. I'm always sick. Yeah. But when I'm down, I'm miserable.
Hibernation time.
I'm calling her like, it used to be a lot more productive like 10 years ago when we only had like one or no kids.
Yeah.
But now it's like, babe, like, she has to do a whole bunch of stuff to come and answer me. Like, she's like, what do you need? And you can tell, like, she's like, you know, like, I'm on a break right now. Like, there's a plate spinning on a pole in the other room. And I'm like, you know, can you rub my back? And she's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, God damn it. You know, so a lot of sacrifice on my part having children.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get my back
Less
rubbed.
back rubs.
I don't get to act like half a bitch when I'm sick. You ever see that meme? I was just talking about it the other day with a friend. The meme that says, you know, women go through the pain of labor, so they almost understand what it feels like for a man to have a cold.
Yeah, that's funny. I saw that one. That's a good one.
Great. But it's you know, it's the process. So what else we got going on? We got a bunch of things going on. I wanted to talk. We had the inauguration.
Yeah, on your birthday.
On my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
29 for the 13th year. Lucky 13.
That's good.
No, I don't give a shit about birthdays and such. And I spent my birthday pretty sick. That's why I haven't been doing a lot of live shows on Facebook. I'm all fucking nasally. I was going to record the first episode of the Star Trek podcast. I sound like a 1950s receptionist. You know, I was like, hey. You know, I didn't feel like starting off a new podcast sounding like Mauve.
That's a valid.
You know, from the typing pool.
That's funny. So the thing with Worf. Yeah, it's a good point.
That was like a Jew.
Yeah, I kind of went. I don't know
what the fuck.
I went like all over the place.
I don't know, man. You got Scottish accent. I haven't heard one good one yet.
No, I have more than that.
You keep saying that.
I do.
I just haven't heard one.
I have more than that.
The worst is when you do like a ghetto black guy voice.
Yeah. Well, it's for effect.
Well, it definitely makes it creates an effect.
Yeah, because it's
but
terrible.
Not the. It's like, and I know you don't have enough like reference points in your mind to sort of design and create that voice.
I go straight like stereotypical movie voice,
but like terrible,
but in a bad way. But that's the charm of it. That's what makes it funny.
You cannot say that it's charming.
That's what I think.
You can't say
it's like that accent.
I'm charming.
That impression's so bad, it's funny. Like that's what makes it good. So bad, it's good. It's like a Razzie.
I don't even know what a Razzie is.
It's they give awards to like the worst movies.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Listen, you're like film nerd shit. Like
doesn't work on me.
Just bridge the gap between that
the
and
Razzies.
The audience. So it's like a Razzie. I'm like, is that like a roofie?
Just gotta take a roofie to jerk off. That's how uptight he is. That was from Frontier. I watched that show. Remember I told you about it?
No.
On Netflix with Khal Drogo as the main character. Pretty
good show.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes. It's about fur trading in Canada, but he's just killing a bunch of people. Like, pretty squared away. They're having a second season. Yeah.
See, that's the one. He's like a Native American.
He's half Native American, half Irish actually.
Half Native American, half Irish.
Yeah.
And half. What's the other one?
Khal Drogo.
Half Khal Drogo. What are those people?
I don't know.
What's the people?
Oh, are you talking about Dothraki?
Dothraki, that's what it is.
It's a pretty good show. That was one of the lines though. He's so uptight he's got to take a roofie to jerk off.
Limitless.
Limitless, yeah.
Let's talk about Limitless.
Okay, we can talk about that.
I don't know if you guys have seen
the movie.
It's on Netflix.
It is now.
I don't know if the movie's on Netflix.
I don't know if the movie's on Netflix.
But they made a TV show.
Yeah.
It was on CBS.
Yep.
And CBS canceled it.
Oh, it did? I didn't even know that shit.
So one season, CBS canceled it, and now I think Netflix is picking it up.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Right. So I have 2 more episodes to the season.
Okay.
There's only 1 season available. 22 episodes, though.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It's a meaty season. I think I'm more in love with the premise than I am the show.
Yeah.
I love the nerd genius, I'm so smart I can't help but to do shit amazingly type of theme.
Now, did you see the movie?
I love the movie.
Yeah, the movie was good.
Based on modafinil.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Right? And they referenced that in the first episode of the TV show. You know, when they're talking about this NZT, which is the thing, they're like, you ever heard of modafinil? Just imagine it 1,000 times.
Yeah,
like,
they said
that's
that. Yeah.
what they, how they reference it. But I'm watching it. One cool thing, one of the episodes, the guy has a Marcelo Garcia rash guard on.
Do some jujitsu.
Do some jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. They're based in New York, I'm imagining.
So now, what's the premise, though? Because we didn't talk about it exactly.
All right, so I don't want to go full. Should I go full spoiler alert? Like,
Yeah, like there's a movie and a fucking whole season of a TV show. If you haven't seen it already, like...
Yeah, I guess that's right. So, that was one of the things I was debating, like with the Next Generation.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna sell this show. Should I be breaking it? I'm like, the shit was fucking 30 years ago.
haven't watched it.
Like, if you haven't watched it, like whatever. So,
It's just more incentive to watch it.
so the premise of the show
Yep.
is this guy, Brian
Yep.
Finch, is basically a fuck up.
Yeah.
He's one of, I think, 4 kids. His father is a former ACLU lawyer. The mother, a housewife type. He's like in his 30s, still with the bong, still like one of those guys.
Yep.
He is at a bottom, sort of bottom of the barrel moment in his life. He winds up doing some temp work. He's like a struggling musician. He's doing some temp work. During them introducing the character, they say he was in a band, and eventually everybody in the band left him to where he became a solo act. Like, that's how they showed, like, he's a fucking loser, basically. Well, one of the temp jobs that he got, first episode, one of the guys that he was in a band with, who had left him, is now like this power player in this corporation, and gives him basically like, listen, I got something that'll help you, reach the next level. Some shit. Gives him an NZT pill. The guy winds up getting murdered, the friend. So the main character has to find out who it is. Yada, yada, yada. They tie in the Bradley Cooper character.
Correct.
They tie him in to, listen, when... I want you to work with the FBI. The FBI are trying to find out who Brian Finch is because he was involved in the murder and he was the one that found the body. Doing a terrible job explaining.
No, it's working.
But the whole thing is, this guy is a prodigy investigator for this special unit in the FBI.
Because of the pills.
Because of the pills.
Yeah.
So the pills are said to basically have an effect on people like methadone.
Oh shit.
Not like methadone.
Everyone's like
methamphetamines.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's on lines in the morning.
It's
better than heroin.
So unlocks the brain thing.
Right, but the thing is, it deteriorates, the body. So they have all these meth head like before and after pictures.
Yep.
Well, they think that the guy Brian Finch is immune. They don't know that Bradley Cooper's character created a booster to sort of eliminate the side effects.
Correct.
That's how he's in the FBI. They want him around because they get to use him for the benefits of somebody being on NZT, but they also get to study as to why he's seemingly immune to the side effects of NZT.
And they don't know that Bradley Cooper is...
They have no idea.
He's like going to be president.
Right.
Like that's his thing.
So that's one of the plot lines is Bradley Cooper basically moving all the pieces behind the scenes to make sure that they don't connect them to. And you can see he's like positioning people in places of influence because he's trying to become president.
Which one thing I would say I like of all the shows they took recently, that's a big thing. Mm-hmm. Movie, make a TV show out of it. Mm-hmm. This is one of the ones where they didn't do a remake or it's a continuation of the movie, which is fucking good. That's like much better. And Bradley Cooper's been in it quite a bit. His character's in it.
He's like a producer for the show,
it makes sense.
He's doing what he's got to do. So, a lot of cool aspects to the show.
Yeah.
Has the ugly girl from Dexter.
The girl from Dexter, Carpenter.
Right. Here's the thing. As is the case with I think most people, when they're watching shows they like, they think they could write some points better, some parts better.
Sure.
So there are, you could tell, a lot of these sort of millennial hipster types writing this show. A lot of social justice warrior shit.
Yep.
A lot of the just progressive political commentary shit. The guys like this like half a fag,
stoner guy.
Yeah. And you could tell that the people who are writing this are political people, like on the left. I hate seeing that in the writing of the fucking show because it's completely irrelevant to the plot line. There are also parts where they write his relationship with his family, and it's unbelievable. It's impractical. It wouldn't go down the way they're writing it, and it's inconsistent. The father is like the super, aggressive, liberal lawyer type.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my son out of the FBI because they're taking advantage of him, and this whole thing. So, the original leverage for the FBI and Brian Fitch working together is they catch him with his involvement with his friend's murder. He basically just discovers his friend's body.
Yeah.
Makes it look like he's had something to do with it. He ran from the FBI. He, in order to prove his innocence, had to break into a bank. So they got all these charges.
Yeah.
And basically, it's like, listen, we'll put these on the shelf. You work with us, whatever. So the father's like super defensive of him. The guy Brian Fitch never gets mad at anybody from like betraying him. Like there's one point his sister's hanging out with him, and some guy that the FBI doesn't know about comes and needs help. Just got stabbed, and Brian needs to like do surgery. And he tells her, like, listen, you can't tell anybody about this.
Yeah.
So she's like, the next family get together. She's like, Mom, I gotta tell you something about Brian. And she's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
But
I like the powers that he gets.
Well,
but sometimes they're inconsistent. Like
they're completely inconsistent.
The one I liked about, do you remember when he's jumping off of the fire escapes? And he knows exactly how much.
The tensile strength of his hands.
Fuck, like that was cool, man. He knew exactly how much his body can withstand, how much he needed to grasp. Like and he did things physically that were like very, very impressive. But then there's times where that doesn't work out. He learned jujitsu in like 2 minutes. Like he gets amazing at jujitsu because of the pill, which is pretty like a Matrix type thing. I like the show. I do. I get what you're saying though. They have some good references to other pop culture stuff that kind of even out the SJW bullshit.
You can't tell me it evens it out. It's not my opinion that it evens it out.
It's my opinion that it evens it out.
Well, you just dismissed my criticism.
No, your criticism
saying
is
it's
valid.
Evened out. But to say it's evened out means that it's no longer.
It's evened out enough that I'll watch the show. I would say I should rephrase. Because if it wasn't, then I wouldn't watch it.
Like what pop culture stuff?
Like Evil Dead references, like just movies that are good. Like they reference a lot of movies that are good, so it gets me.
You also see that there's some comment or some. It's like an inside joke sort of thing with the writers, where they make these references that criticize other projects, and like I don't get it, but I know there's a joke going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't fucking know.
I get it. I like the show. I didn't know that it got canceled though. I had no fucking idea.
The movie I enjoyed thoroughly.
The movie was great. The ending of the movie was fucking great.
Great. The TV show, I mean, very inconsistent, man. Very inconsistent. They make him seem like, but they make him seem like an idiot.
A lot of the times, yeah.
And they try to write in that the reason he's still so effective, even though he's an idiot off the NZT, is his moral compass. He's going to do the right thing. He's not going to be one of these people. And with that, you see all of my other issues with so much of what people think that's about.
Yeah.
They think it's, it's like, well, we all need to get along. We all need to be one big family. We all need to, and that's how he sees it. And it's complete bullshit, obviously.
Yeah. It's a fun show, though. In general.
And that's the thing. It's fun in a sci-fi sort of way where you just get to say, play the what if game and do cool shit with the guy that you give these powers to.
Yeah, that's the thing,
It's very hard for me to really give a shit about any of the characters, though, because they're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
The girl, the ugly girl.
Yeah.
She is. I mean, I think she's a good actress, and the way her character's written, she's buddy with him. She's like this disgruntled victim on a quest sort of thing because her dad was murdered.
Yeah.
It had something to do with NZT. But then she like wants to betray the main character because he lied to her.
Yeah.
It's like get the fuck out of here with all of this nonsense. It's like super overdramatic, but to a level that's inconsistent. You know.
I forget how many seasons there are. I don't know.
Of what? There's just one season.
They split in two. That's why I think there's 2 seasons. They did like the mid-season break, came back with it. I felt like it was a second season in my perception of things.
Oh, so you saw it when it was on CBS?
Yeah, I saw it when it was on television.
You watch too much fucking TV, dude.
I stay up late and I put it on in the background. I'm like doing something and I'm watching something. Like,
yeah, it's I don't know. I don't fucking know.
DVR.
I still got 2 episodes left.
The ending's pretty good.
The season 1?
Yeah, the last episode's fucking pretty squared away. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watched at least to the end of the season. I was yelling at the TV, so this always happens. My wife asked me yesterday. She's like, "Why are you watching it?" She's like, "All you're doing is complaining about it." I said, "Want to know why? Because I'm on episode 17 of 22. Like that, and I gotta fucking see it.
Gotta finish it. Yeah.
Gotta finish it. But I don't know.
Kind of like Lost. Gotta finish it.
American Viking says, I really want that fucking pill. I think we all do. That's why we watch the show.
Watch the show. That's exactly why.
You're like, I would have done this. Yep. I would have done that. What would you do? Okay, let's play that game. Okay. Right? Let's pretend we have a radio show. We gotta talk about shit.
Yeah, oh shit. Oh. Star Trek's coming.
Come. That's just come. I have the door chime sound as my text notification sound.
It's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
So what would I do with what?
You got that pill. Boom! You can do it because you watch the show, so you know what he's capable of.
Yeah. Now, am I gonna have the side effects or no side effects? Because that changes things.
Well, no side effects. Because if we're talking about, I'm not asking you to live the life of somebody who's taking the pill.
Okay.
I'm saying you have the powers that the pill gives you.
I mean, there would be a lot of things. I would square away a lot of shit.
Yeah, let's pretend we're going to talk about them. And you got to give actual fucking examples. Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. It's fine.
I mean, holy shit. There's a lot of things.
First thing I would do if I was on the pill would be to make sure that I had a limitless supply of the pill. That'd be part 1 because you need to have it. Mm-hmm. So,
another thing. I got to pause.
Yeah.
How does this guy... So he supposedly, the premise is you take this pill, you become one of the smartest people on the planet.
You can see a lot of stuff going on.
He's got extra pills that he stashes.
He does. He saves a couple.
Each pill 12 hours. Like I think that's something they put on, right? For the show. Yeah. It had to, be part of the thing. But
at the end of the Bradley Cooper movie, he didn't have to take the pills anymore.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Right? So they're out. I already went that route.
Yeah.
How come this guy at some point doesn't say, well, I need to find a way to fucking create... Never mind the booster shot, but just the NZT pill itself.
Yeah.
Like, if you're one of the smartest guys on the planet, you can invent shit that lesser guys have invented.
Correct.
He has an example of a pill that
reverse engineer that he's got it. Reverse engineer.
I don't understand that.
That's the first thing I would do. That's the very first thing.
But go on.
The very first thing I would do is reverse engineer the pill. And if I needed to come up with the antidote, I would also do that too, because it would be in my wheelhouse to do both things right away. That'd be pill 1, like manufacturing and establishment.
Right.
All for capital, I would obviously analyze the easiest way to make money if you have a way to analyze things and see things far in advance.
Slavery.
I would get some slaves and just get some cotton going and fucking just ride them into the sunset. Playing stock markets, futures, shorting. I would start open up an account and I would make $1 billion on the stock market. So there I have capital now. So now I have manufacturing and capital. And then from there I would set up my empire. Like we're in the empire building business, So similarly, I have access to that pill. My priority is making sure I don't run out of the pill. That's part 1, 100%.
Making myself completely self-sufficient. As far as making money, I think that's valid. I would concede that when I would be on that pill, I would know how to make money at a level that I probably can't conceptualize right now.
Yes.
So whatever that is what I would do. I don't think I would let anybody know that I'm on the pill. And I think that if you talk about high-level feeders, I would bring myself out of the spotlight, and create just an infrastructure where I'm pressing every button, but nobody even knows I exist.
Yeah, which what Bradley Cooper's doing, but at the same time, he wants to be president. So that's the only. It's the only.
So it's the same thing, but instead of nobody knowing he exists, he's running for president. I see it. It's right there.
It's right there.
It's like neighbors
it's
on
like
the same
exact thing. Yeah. But yeah, because that's what he does in the movie. He manufactures, like, the scene with Robert De Niro at the end is the best scene in the whole movie.
Right.
At the very end on the street.
He calculates the fucking accident and all that.
He's like, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, and, like, I'm 100 steps before you even realize I'm 100 steps ahead of you. Like, that's the idea.
Yeah. I don't know. It's too many inconsistencies.
Well, you think this guy's not doing that because he's a moron? Like, in the beginning, like...
Well, the lady makes a reference, the girlfriend he has.
Yeah.
She goes, well, we all did start at different baselines. You know, like, implying. So he's like, you just call me dumb. You know? But who knows if that's the case. Yeah. But, like, super genius plus 100 IQ points. Like, what the fuck is the difference?
Yeah, know.
There's a certain point where, you know what I mean? It's like they're both in the NBA. One guy could dunk from the time he was 6. One guy had to do, 40,000 jump shots in his backyard in order to, like, different routes, but they're there, I don't fucking know.
But it's an interesting premise. That's the thing. That's what got me wanting to watch it. The movie, I was like, that's a cool premise. And then the TV show, it's like, I like the movie, so let's try it. The only other TV show that I really like that was a movie was Hannibal. That's a good fucking show.
No.
Like, reimagined the movie and the books, changed some things, but that show's fucking good.
I don't like serial killer stuff. Dexter, I hated Dexter.
You didn't like Dexter?
I'm
telling you, Hannibal, you should watch Hannibal. You love it. It's a really good show.
I don't disagree. I mean, and the thing is, like, you could have a premise that isn't appealing, in my experience, to me, but the writing is so good, the acting's so good.
The best line in the show, I'm not a cannibal. That implies that we're equal.
Right.
Fucking amazing.
Great line.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not into watching people sneak around killing people because
that show's not about that.
I'm not saying that it is. Like, I tried watching Dexter.
Yeah.
I made it into, like, the 5th episode.
Yeah, you didn't.
And I was like, this guy's like a fucking weirdo.
This guy's like a weird fag guy.
This is like a weird fag sneaking around killing people. Because you're like, fuck this guy.
Tie him to the table naked. You're not into that.
I don't know.
In plastic.
Yeah, like...
I get it.
I'm not into that.
I get it.
It's like, oh man, who's he going to get this week? Get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm on this guy's team. Because that's the way I see things. Like, I'm on a team with the... Like, if I'm rooting for you, we're on a team.
Yeah, we're on a team. We're on a mission.
I don't want to be on a team with this fucking guy.
Let's go. Yeah, you don't want...
Creepy fucking sneak around, kill a guy fucking guy.
Yeah. Sneak around, kill a guy, fucking guy. I don't think you ever fucked a guy, but...
So...
Yeah.
But that's I think when you look at Limitless, one of the great alluring qualities of the show is everybody sits down like imagining like how cool it would be to be that guy.
That's the way they do it.
Obviously, and I don't know. It's one of those just things that one could allow his mind to sort of just play with for a while.
And it's cool stuff like when he dodges the bullet. Bradley Cooper, like, that's fucking...
That was awesome.
That's cool shit. But he did it enough so that it was plausible.
Right. Made the decision to get grazed because he would get more points.
Like, that's some cool shit right there. Right. I'm more interested, like, I think the show would be better, by the way, if it was just about Bradley Cooper's character.
Clearly.
But, at the same time, I don't want to see Bradley Cooper's character lose or at all be vulnerable in any way. I want him to be unstoppable. No. Similarly, like, the way they fuck up Wolverine. Right? What kind of Wolverine movie do you want to see? I want to see the movie where the only obstacle he has is there's more people in front of him to kill. It's like, okay, what's his difficulty? He killed 10 people. The next room, there's 300 people he needs to kill. But he's not, like, weak. He's not struggling. He just has more bodies to fucking mow down. That's the Wolverine movie. I don't want to see a weak, fucking, frail Wolverine.
Right.
I just want to see him kill, like, truckloads of people.
So another premise that I think the show deals with, or the show brings up, is there a point where, because one of the things I don't agree with with the show also and I think maybe the writers don't understand enough of this. There's not a point where you become so smart that you just become this nihilistic, sort of amoral type of intelligence.
Yeah.
So people talk about the singularity, right? They even deal with it, I think, in an episode in the show, where, basically we have computer speeds that are, or computer capabilities that are at the level where they could actually merge with human intelligence and,
and then create something smarter.
Right.
That creates something smarter.
It creates this sort of,
yeah.
Exponential increase in intellect from that point. Now, or computers become self-aware.
Yeah.
Now, there's a whole genre of sci-fi that deals with this: what happens after the singularity? What happens?
Yeah.
Ex Machina, the movie,
Yeah.
great movie.
That's a good movie.
The Terminator series.
The Johnny Depp movie wasn't bad.
Which one was that?
The one, I forget the name now, but the one where
he actually becomes like...
Yeah, like it wasn't bad.
Right,
it wasn't
he uploads his mind to a computer or some shit.
Yeah,
and I heard about it. But the whole thing is, I don't think that when you're looking at morality, I don't think that you become so smart that you stop, sort of like your natural inclinations disappear.
Like Lawnmower Man, you ever see that one?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Lawnmower Man, good example.
Yeah,
so
that's a good movie.
The
sequel's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you get to the point where your intelligence becomes so pronounced that you're operating at a level that these guys are operating, the fact that that's inherently going to affect your morality in a fundamental sense, I think is flawed.
Yeah.
So like the thing with Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper, the character in the show, there's a statement he makes where it's not about who controls this world, it's about who controls the next one. Like, he makes this thing where, listen, these people don't matter. Now, I understand that there's a certain point where if we really look at the limitations of our reality's ability to provide for us as a species, we understand, like I just went over a couple of months ago, the hunting safety course that I had to take.
Yeah.
Incredibly informative. And they talk about, population controls, and they talk about conservationist efforts, and, why there are seasons, why, it's a good thing to hunt here, a bad thing to hunt there, how you could hunt a species right out of a habitat, how you can let the habitat overrun it so that it disrupts the ecosystem of the habitat, like all these different things. Well, playing devil's advocate for a second and just applying that type of perspective to humans on Earth, it makes sense that there's a certain point where, if we're removing the emotional, sort of empathetic aspect of our personality, we could look at the population just in terms of math, the same way we look at, species during hunting. Like, I can understand that, but I don't think at any point it's going to affect one's sort of drives, basic human drives, to procreate, to survive past a certain point. I think it becomes flawed when you have people, assume that once you become smart enough, you stop caring about humanity.
Yeah.
You stop caring about all the things that matter.
I think it's written that way because no one knows. So they just assume, like...
You see, to me, I know. Like, I'm completely confident.
Yeah, I mean, to them, it's like, that's the leap.
Well, it's sci-fi.
Of course. Like Lawnmower Man. Like, the guy, he understands that, his physical body, he can do more being injected into the machine and spread everywhere and basically control everything.
Right.
Like, he doesn't even want to be human anymore. Like, he Transcendence. That's the fucking name of the movie with Johnny Depp.
Transcendence.
Yeah. Not a bad movie. Like, it was actually tricked me. I was like, I don't know, this movie looks like bullshit. I watched it. I was like, actually, pretty good.
I'll check it out.
It's pretty good.
Ex Machina. I love that movie.
Was fucking
I love
great.
that movie. If you guys haven't seen that, you gotta see that movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. There's a lot of movies. Like the Person of Interest show, which is pretty good. You ever see that?
No. What's that about?
So, this guy, the guy from Benjamin Linus from Lost, your favorite, he gotta finish Lost, and then we'll worry about it.
I will never watch another episode of Lost.
You said, but you have to finish. You said.
I was on episode like 17 of 22. I am in no such position in the Lost collection of episodes.
Anyway, so the guy creates a computer very similar to they stole it for the Fast and the Furious. You know, like the eye that connects to every single camera, can see everything. A computer that is sentient that can basically predict who's in trouble, who's going to die. Like, and basically, it has control of every single camera, and it gets hidden. Like it hides itself, and then it has operators that work and help to save people. So they get like social security numbers. You got to figure out if the guy's bad or good, and then like basically go and stop shit from happening. It gets pretty crazy. The
whole premise of the show is based on this eye thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a second computer is created that like competes with it.
The mouth?
No. The other eye. So another computer is created that wants to be installed in the government, and that's going to then basically compete with it. So now you have agents of both systems trying to basically, control the world. But it's a pretty good fucking show. Yeah. There was a Malinois in one episode. But actually the Malinois is like his dog, which is pretty cool. The guy Jim Cassavelli, I don't know fucking say his name. That guy. The guy who played Jesus. He's the main
Jimmy
character.
Cavadil.
Jimmy Cavazillo. That's my Jesus. He's the guy. And it's a pretty good show. Pretty good show. He's like the badass ex-military guy who kills everyone.
Right.
It's pretty good.
I'll check it out.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I got to finish the last 2 episodes of this thing, and I don't know, man. I'm watching a show. I'm enjoying the idea of it. I think people who enjoy the show enjoy like we mentioned, the idea of taking a pill and being able to have perfect recall. Cool moment. Bradley Cooper's character describes that when he's, in need of a reprieve or a break, he closes his eyes and he remembers what it was like to be in his mother's womb. Which
that
is fucking. It's like, what?
That's the cool shit.
But to go from that to this guy, half slapstick, half genius, it's just inconsistent. I think that's what that is a major sort of double-edged sword of sci-fi.
Yeah, and
it is the theme behind much of my criticisms for a lot of sci-fi,
like Superman.
Superman, perfect example. Yeah. We've spoken about this.
Yeah.
Where it's so hard to maintain consistency when you're dealing with these tremendous, wells of power.
Yeah, well, in some respects, someone would be, if you make him this powerful, and then he has to do something stupid or something menial that he can do in 2 seconds, it almost makes it boring.
I hate the Superman character.
I know.
I absolutely hate the Superman character. I don't know if I explained to you guys. I hate the Superman character. They basically created a god, and they were like, wait a minute, we got to create an exhaust port, like the Death Star.
Yeah, that's pretty much...
The kryptonite, to me, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Now, Superman's supposed to be a genius, right? So, the thing is, if you are Superman, I understand you're a Boy Scout, I understand super morality, but you also see yourself as being somebody who is destined to combat these evil forces, that exist. It's not much of a leap to justify creating some sort of mechanism that eliminates kryptonite from people's possessions.
Well, yeah, that would be one of the things you would do.
He never does that.
Make some robots and fucking get rid of all the kryptonite.
This is my point.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, live and let live, man. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
You're reducing a person. The kryptonite thing is rough. You're reducing a person that is supposed to be it's unstoppable. Kryptonite bullet, he's dead.
Right.
But then they added the thing where he regenerates.
But then let's talk about the kryptonite thing.
Yeah. So he can't be killed, by the way. He's immortal. Superman.
But first of all, if he's immortal, how does he age?
He doesn't. He's not supposed to age.
He was a fucking kid when he showed up on the planet.
Once he reaches maturity. Like, it's all
You see,
fucking...
but this-
I get
this
it.
is
Like,
the
I
thing.
know. I get it.
You can't say somebody's immortal if in 30
like
years
Jesus.
they age 30 years.
It's like Jesus. Once you hit 30, you're ripe.
Because they killed him. So the thing with kryptonite. So it's a piece of his planet.
Irradiated because the planet was destroyed. So it's not just an original piece of the planet. The process that destroyed the planet irradiated the piece of the planet. That's why it hurts him.
That doesn't. What does that mean?
The planet was destroyed. So if the planet itself wasn't destroyed, and just a piece of his planet that was not fucked up, he would be fine. If the piece of his planet, because the planet would.
Well, I don't think the planet was made out of kryptonite.
Well, I get it, yeah, but
It wasn't some emerald fucking planet like when Marlon Brando was walking around in his fucking bathrobe.
That's what I'm saying. Like on the planet kryptonite, whatever, like they are not affected by it. They don't walk around like, oh no, like they fall over.
No,
it's a byproduct of the destruction of his planet.
Right. So that doesn't answer.
It doesn't.
Why it affects him the way it does.
Two sex machina.
But that's the thing. There's too much of that. It's inconsistent. It's inconsistency that I abhor.
What about when they started bringing up the other kryptonite? There's red kryptonite. There's fucking black kryptonite.
Well, you fucking look for, or you do enough content. You got a female Thor. You know, you got a fucking Puerto Rican Spider-Man. You got it's fucking retarded.
Half black, half Puerto Rican Spider-Man.
Yeah, right. Black Rican. But
and some of Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is similar to Person of Interest. That's where the thing is sentient. But Fast and the Furious used the whole every camera, you can access every camera thing. Whereas Eagle Eye did something similar, but more recently Fast and Furious. That's why I made that reference. Someone was asking.
Yeah.
Kryptonite.
Michael Davis says kryptonite didn't exist until the planet exploded.
Yeah.
No, and I get that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, okay, your planet exploded and created this other
how the fuck
material. But why does that affect somebody who's from there's a gap that exists about why it affects somebody negatively like that. Because the planet exploded. The actual planet exploded. It's not that this sort of explosion occurred on the planet, creating the substance that killed everybody from the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I get what
like
you're
some
saying,
sort of biological fucking disease that eliminated all life.
Listen.
It literally exploded the planet.
Yeah, it's a radioactive element that fucks with his, it degenerates his cells is what it does. So if you put it on him, that's it. You put him in a kryptonite cage, he's done.
But there have been too many examples of that not happening.
Well, the one time he turned into electricity. Did you ever read that story?
No.
He became fucking pure energy electricity Superman. That happened at one point. They run out of ideas. They killed another version of Superman, by the way. There was two at one point. One guy got kryptonite poisoning, died. Our Superman's still alive. But that Superman died of kryptonite poisoning and basically turned into stone. It's just, they get fucking... What happens is, someone was like, okay, Superman, the yellow sun makes him powerful. That's it. And then they were like, how did we hurt him? Piece of his planet. We're relying on someone that probably wasn't that creative, and it was a long time ago, so it's a lot of holes in that shit. What happens when he restores the solar energy? Let's say he flies into another fucking far away, another galaxy. How long does he have before he's fucking weak? Is he never weak?
Who's your favorite superhero?
Batman.
Batman, not a superhero, by the way.
Yeah, that's. I like Batman though. What's your favorite superhero? Wolverine.
Were you asking me, or because you asked and answered a question on your own?
Dude.
So,
all right, who's your favorite superhero?
Wolverine. Wolverine, by the way.
Yeah,
superhero.
He's a superhero. Cyclops is really I like Cyclops a lot.
Cyclops. I mean, the rumor is. Cyclops was created as a joke.
That's funny.
It was the phallic symbol, Cyclops,
That's hysterical.
I just made that up. That's how easy it is to fucking denigrate Cyclops, by the way.
Cyclops good. He actually went nuts and started killing everybody.
Cyclops is a terrible superhero.
I don't think so. He's fearless leader.
First of all, he's not a fearless leader.
He's the fearless leader. That's what they call him.
He is obsessed with Jean Grey, completely obsessed and jealous of Wolverine. He's a goody two-shoes.
He is.
His power is fucking terrible.
He's actually pretty powerful.
I didn't say he wasn't powerful. I said his power was terrible. Right? A lot of
Laser Eye is fucking awesome.
Come on. Like, a little short on creativity that fucking week. This guy, he shoots lasers out of his fucking eyes.
Yeah, he shoots lasers out of his eyes. Batman's also the greatest detective in the world.
Right, so great detective, but we're talking about superheroes.
He's a superhero. He'll fuck. That's one of the best stories where they used all of his plans to kill all the other superheroes. It's pretty cool.
Right. And
they turned Cyclops crazy in the latest episodes. Like, he went Magneto style and just started fucking kill Professor X. He killed a bunch of people, and then he
that's
died.
the thing. You almost have to, like, if you want to have a discussion on superheroes, like, you almost have to limit it.
So what about
to a certain like subset of their entire timeline, because these guys got to fucking churn out comics all the fucking time.
Almost gotta,
There are so many fucking stories that it's like, what's your favorite fairy tale? Star Wars. In Star Wars,
The Last Jedi.
Fucking terrible.
You saw the title, Last Jedi.
The last movie should be the fucking title. I am so tired of Star Wars.
The Last Jedi.
Like, holy shit.
That's hysterical. Okay.
Luke Skywalker, is he gay?
They
say you don't know? That's terrible.
He's not gay, but then...
How do you know that?
They said I don't know. I don't know.
Like, you literally have no proof.
I have no proof that he's not gay.
Well,
And
it's not that being gay would be
then Mark
the end
Hamill
of the
was like, hey, he can be gay. Why not? It's like...
Right. Exactly.
And then they're like, yeah, why not? Let's make everyone gay.
So what the fuck are we talking about?
We're talking about superheroes. So now, what are your criteria for superheroes? Like, they need powers? They need to have, like, a special ability that no one else has, kind of thing?
Like, you have to make the distinction between what's a hero,
okay,
and what's a superhero.
Okay.
So it's not a number of people you help. It's not a influence. It's not even the level of your act, meaning the magnitude of your heroic deed.
Yeah.
It is, I would say, it has to be in the potential of what you are, the capabilities that you possess.
Yeah.
In that...
Despite of weaknesses?
Well, we can't say that that the weaknesses necessarily have to play a role, because if you're doing something that is super heroic, it means you're doing something at a level that the average person cannot attain.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's a little leap that for some people that would have to make, but I think that is where you make the distinction between a hero and a superhero. You know, an average person can be a hero, an average person can't be a superhero. So when you talk about Batman, Batman, by the way, is a fucking nut job. Batman's parents were killed.
Yep.
And it caused him to put on a bat suit.
Yes.
To fight crime. But he won't kill anybody.
Not anymore.
Right, well...
The new movie's killing everybody.
Well, that's,
I get it. He doesn't kill anybody.
He won't kill anybody. And he won't use guns.
Yes.
Because he was traumatized.
By that, yeah.
Because he has psychological trauma that affects his identity and who he is.
Yes.
Where he sees himself. That's crazy shit.
He's crazy, yeah.
So...
But they say he has a genius level detective mind.
A lot of geniuses on the planet, by the way.
But his is like the most. That's a superpower. He's smarter than everyone.
But yet still traumatized about guns.
Yeah. Yep. Still traumatized.
So smart, doesn't understand the value of a fucking gun.
Nope, doesn't need him. He's so good.
But here's the thing, has the morality.
Yeah, that he won't kill anybody.
That he won't kill anybody. By the way, there's some people that need to die.
Yeah.
Like, bad guys need to die sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
So the whole, nobody should ever die by my hand, that's not smart. That's fucking weak.
Like, look at, he lets his enemies live. That's not fucking smart at all. I agree with you 100% on that.
So...
If I was Batman, I'd be killing people. They had a good Elseworlds tale where Superman got Superman landed, and the fucking in Gotham, and the Waynes raised him, and the fucking Waynes got killed in front of Superman. Superman became Batman, but he was killing people, like melting their faces, fucking killing everyone. Mm-hmm. And then they fucking, at the end, he's Superman again, which fucking sucked. But there was a point there where he was Batman with Superman powers, fucking killing everybody. It was a pretty good story.
Yeah, that's a tough sell. Because part of his training is the need to train. Like, by the way, it's like, why do you become a martial arts expert? Because you need to be a martial arts expert to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you're Superman, you never have that necessity.
Well, he didn't. That's not. He killed the people that killed his parents. He fucking no,
but you're not understanding what I'm saying.
He just put on a bat
I'm not
suit.
explaining it correctly.
Yeah, he didn't do any of the martial arts training.
But that's the thing. You're not Batman then.
He just put on a bat suit.
Right, but that's like you're not Batman.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a story.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. So,
yeah, Batman should
Wolverine,
kill people.
Kill motherfuckers.
Kills everybody.
He's down with fucking violence.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that I liked about Wolverine early on...
He's also traumatized, though.
How is he traumatized?
Wolverine? His whole story is about how he doesn't know who he is, how his past escapes him, how he's always looking for that.
But escapes him because he's so sad?
He's traumatized by his past. A lot.
You can't just say that. He's traumatized by his past a lot.
He's always having visions of, like, the fact that they put the shit
But
in.
they affected his memory.
Yeah.
That's not he's fucking traumatized like he's a fucking
when the Native American one got killed, he was upset about that.
When what?
His wife. When they killed his wife, he was upset.
Just because you were upset they killed your wife doesn't mean that...
I like Wolverine.
I'm so upset that they killed my parents, I'm going to put on a bat suit.
It's a good point.
Like, that's fucking crazy.
Now, what do you think about the new trailer? The Logan trailer?
Alright, so Old Man Logan...
Not a very good story.
I'm not a fan of the story either. I don't like the...
Shock value bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, let's create weakness in our guys. Let's explore elements of the personal, human condition. Like, I'm not into that. Create new fucking characters for that shit.
Yeah. They're not doing the Old Man Logan storyline. They're stealing from it, but the X-23 is not in... That's his daughter, pretty much. A cloned version of him.
Right.
That's in the movie now. That's not in the Old Man Logan story. Like, they're just basically... I don't know. They're taking parts of it. They couldn't use some of the characters. Like Hulk, they can't fucking have the Hulk in there.
Yeah, see, to me, if you're... Like, I'll watch the movie.
I think it's going to be the best one of the worst film series about...
See, I was going to say, I hate Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
I don't like it.
I don't dislike Hugh Jackman, but him as Wolverine, like, he's not Wolverine.
There's a musical number in this one. He's going to sing.
Oh, fuck. I almost fucking lost my mind. I almost lost my mind.
He sings to the little girl. Well, I don't know. The movie looks like it has potential. It's rated R. It's going to be violent. Wolverine should be fucking the most violent movie. Should be Kill Bill. The scene from Kill Bill where she's chopping people's arms and legs off. It should be that.
Crazy 88s.
Yeah, It should be that times 10. Like, it should be more than that.
It's just the way to do it.
Like, I can have Wolverine with no blood.
Like, they made Deadpool. Right?
Yeah, Deadpool was good.
They committed.
Yeah, they went
They
all the
were
way.
like, you know what? Fuck it.
They made a Deadpool movie.
Like,
Yeah.
Why can't we get a Wolverine movie like that?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be goofy like that. Deadpool's goofy on purpose.
Can't be Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine's
I
a
hate...
fucking killing machine.
There's this whole generation of people now.
It's been like how many years?
But that Hugh Jackman is Wolverine to them.
When was the first one? 2000. When did it come out?
A long fucking time
It's like
ago.
15 years, like, of Wolverine or whatever the fuck. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's so fucking aggravating.
Yeah.
It is so aggravating.
We'll see. I'll watch the movie. Like, they're going to give a lot of shine to a little girl killing people. They already showed that. Where,
right.
Look, it's Hit Girl. It's like, all right. Like, it's fucking, that's a shock value device. It's like, all right, the little girl's killing people.
Right.
Oh, there's going to be blood. They're going to say fuck a couple times. Like, at what point are they pandering? Like, It's like, great, Wolverine curse. Oh, press Rex. I'm fucking 90. It's like, oh, great. Like, is that enough? Like, to me, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. And then it just...
The last
it's so
one.
easily... Like, I admit that I have very selfish, needs and wants when it comes to my entertainment. You know? Like, of course, I would like to rewrite almost every movie I've ever fucking seen in some capacity to make it better in what my opinion of better would be. I concede that, But Wolverine being my childhood, favorite superhero, I've just seen I think, incredibly powerful, very mysterious, layered personality.
I like Wolverine.
Just made simplistically fucking fit, movie scripts.
One of the best scenes in the Wolverine was the first one when shows them throughout history, fucking like fighting battles. That was cool. They should have ended the movie right then. Right. It just went downhill. Even though, fucking Sabretooth in that movie, like he's great. Ray Donovan. Ray Donovan. He's good in Ray Donovan, but not a good Sabretooth.
There's a joke there.
There it is.
Let that one go.
But yeah, I don't know. You know what they need to do? Just start it over. This is the last one. Great. Let's go. Make a new one. Make it fucking violent. Start violent. Make a trilogy, Wolverine trilogy, and make it as violent as fucking bloody as possible. That's it.
And I've put the offer out there, and it stands. I will get in shape
to be Wolverine. Someone said Glenn Danzig. I saw Glenn Danzig get knocked out by a dude. Backstage. I can't.
That ruined Glenn Danzig.
It's done because he was tough, and then just got. I can't lie. He can't be Wolverine after that. I can't unsee that clip.
I have yet to see one person that was a musician. Like his identity was a musician. That he was really a badass. Like I've seen a lot of badass imaged musicians.
Sure, you mean someone that talks the talk, walks the walk kind of thing.
I'm not married to this idea.
Yeah.
But it is my current perspective on it. How does one become a musician while also living the life of a serious man? You're a serious man that does music, but are you a musician that's also a serious man?
I get it. Just like an actor.
Which is kind of the point I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
They're there to entertain people.
Yeah.
It's inherent and I've known a lot of serious men, their identity is not one that entertains people.
I get it, yeah.
So
a creative almost as if they were a man and then they have a creative outlet.
Right.
As opposed to entertainer as their main.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense.
And I think that's a great way to put it. Seeing musician as an output, some sort of
creative outlet,
catharsis, for somebody who's got some shit going on. I get that. But being the guy whose primary identity is that of the entertainer, you're a court jester.
By definition.
So that was the one thing. Remember I told you I hated, growing up, the fuck is the group? Come on. Sandman, to the Sandman.
You don't like Metallica?
Metallica.
Yeah.
I hated Metallica growing up. Want to know why?
Because you lived in a black neighborhood.
Because that was part of it. Touche, my friend. That was part of it. But in my mind, I was like, these guys ain't tough.
Yeah.
I was like, these fucking dudes ain't tough.
Fucking Lars is still not tough.
I'm like, these fucking guys ain't badasses.
Yeah.
And, as much as, I find it funny now, but all the drug dealer, rapper guys, I know they really sold drugs.
Yes, they did.
I know they really had guns. I know that they were ghetto pieces of shit before they became musicians.
Yeah.
It's like rap and hip hop in the ghetto was like the secondary, thing. But the first thing was
drugs or music.
Right, but it was all based out of the same reality, But and it's funny because I don't think I've ever made that observation till right now. But a lot of it had to do with I didn't believe any badass. I'm a badass musician. You're a fucking musician.
Yeah.
You're a guy that went to band class during high school. When I was fucking dudes up in the fucking basketball court, you were playing your fucking trombone. Get the fuck out of here.
You're at your piano lesson.
But that's one of the reasons why one of the first bands that I really enjoyed outside of what was so much of my typical genre of music was Man of War.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons, it's they spoke about shit at a fantasy level.
So you didn't have, you don't.
They didn't sell themselves as we're actually fucking Viking killer people. Like,
yeah, till there's blood on my sword. I don't really think they're doing that.
right.
And
nor
I don't,
are they trying to sell that.
Yeah, nor do I expect them to do that.
They're going full jester, like full entertainer.
Full entertainer.
We're playing a role.
Correct.
Whereas so many of these other,
trying to be legitimate,
rock and roll bad boy, like I will fucking slap you. What, you got a cigarette in your mouth?
Yeah.
Put your fucking cigarette out. Put your cigarette out now. Fucking, were you brooding? You over here fucking brooding?
It's true. Yeah.
If I see you brooding, I'm gonna slap the shit out. Like, I feel like I could say that to almost every one of these fucking, these angst-ridden fucking,
Lemmy, though.
Come on.
Lemmy, though. Lemmy's tough. Lemmy from
Motorhead?
Yeah.
I
heard he wrestled God once.
You know what? The first time I ever heard of Lemmy?
Triple H entrance music for wrestling.
When he died.
When he died.
I had no idea.
That's hysterical.
And my musical sort of evolution is filled with a very self-driven journey. When I grew up, I listened to hip-hop music, reggae, and like fucking Sinatra, and Sinatra, like show tunes type music. The reason was my neighborhood was hip hop and reggae.
Yeah.
And in my home, the only other type of music we listened to would be that type of music. So Bob Marley, Frank Sinatra, and Wu-Tang Clan. Those are my three.
Yeah, I get it.
And
Me too.
And I love that when you say it, it's instantly funny. Like, it's not even remotely
believable,
possible to be true.
It's not even close.
Me too.
Me and Bob, me on the porch, back in Jersey, listening to some Bob.
Protect your neck, Ma.
Yeah, I was like, watch it.
So, as I started broadening my musical tastes, it was very much like, well, let me see what this guy's about. No, I don't like that. Let me see. As opposed to just growing up, almost indoctrinated with a certain musical taste that was just my surroundings.
Yeah.
Which I admit, hip hop and reggae, that's what I grew up with. You know? It wasn't that I said, this is the music that I enjoy.
Yeah. Classic rock. Like you put it on a playlist, and I was like, "Oh shit! I feel like I'm at home."
Yeah,
like that was some fun. Like that's the kind of stuff that
fucking Ted Nugent.
Yeah,
like I enjoy Ted Nugent's music.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
There are a lot of people now that I listen to.
You've definitely expanded your musical horizons,
right? But it's really just exploring things on my terms with my current preferences in place. As opposed to just being indoctrinated through an early exposure of some sort,
True. But yeah, like this guy's American Vikings bring it up. This guy who has a band and he's a Gracie black belt. It's like, what defines him though? Like, is he more entertainer or more martial artist? Like, it's always it's going to be one or the other. Like, that's going to be the main drive. A lot of people play music on the side.
Who's this? Zoltan from Five Finger Death Punch could give you a great fight. He's a Gracie BJJ black belt and a black belt judoka with gold and silver medals in both. Zoltan also did Abu Dhabi. Did he?
I don't know who that is, but cool.
I heard of Five Finger Death Punch.
Christopher Lee. That guy killed a lot of people.
Yeah, but... Yeah, Christopher Lee, badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Badass motherfucker.
And then was like, I'll act. But, like, I don't look at him as an actor. I look at him as what he did before.
Right. I'm looking up Zoltan.
Oh, cool.
Five Finger Death Punch.
Like, what's Donald Trump going to be remembered for? Holy shit. Like, he's the fucking president of the United States. He's the guy from The Apprentice. He's the guy who did all that shit. But, like, he's now the president. So...
Zoltan Bathory.
Is that who it is?
Yeah. Zoltan Bathory. And he is one of the main he's a guitarist and one of the... I like a a song that they have. They have with the gay guy from the other fucking group.
I don't remember.
Who's the singer that's gay?
Rob Halford?
Yes.
Okay.
What was he, Iron Maiden?
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden. I'm telling you guys, a lot of shit's new to me. They Lift Me Up, I think is the name of the song. Fucking awesome song.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome song. So he said...
That dude from Tool is a fucking judo guy, BJJ guy.
So he's a... Zoltan... Oh, he won a silver medal at the Abu Dhabi Pro Jiu-Jitsu World Trials.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
That's decent.
That's great. There's a couple guys that are actors.
A 7th degree black belt.
In BJJ?
That's what they're saying.
Huh. There's a couple guys that are black belts in BJJ that act or...
Oh, no. Sorry. He's they're talking about he's under Hoyler.
Okay. Ricardo says turbo lever. The clues were there. That's fucking funny. For Rob Halford.
Yeah,
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, I'm looking like this is great, but this guy's a musician. You know, he's a musician. Seems like a cool dude. You know, he trains. Anybody that trains gets my respect.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think you need to stop with the he'll give me a good fight comments. Just throw that out there. It's we said it was in Abu Dhabi. That's what I didn't understand. But the World Trials is gi stuff. I was in Abu Dhabi, the submission tournament, which was also referenced in Limitless.
Yeah.
You know, the guy was like, if I was, on the pill, I'd win the Abu Dhabi combat submission.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
It's like, so someone's fucking...
Well, one of the writers has to be a Marcelo guy.
Obviously
he's got the thing on. But
cool. I mean, you never know. They could have, if they're shooting in New York, they're like, who's the top guy in New York? And they went and talked to him. They could have just have a good research, it could be that,
Right.
And then they got information like, what's the high? They asked 4 questions like, who's the fucking guy in New York? Oh, it's Marcelo Garcia. What's the most prestigious grappling thing? They asked him. He's like Abu Dhabi. It's like, all right, so there we go. Right. We got all the info we need. Let's go make a show.
All right, so we're gonna take a break. You have a video?
I'll find one. I don't have one.
God damn it, Pat.
I mean, I had one last week.
No, this is what you're gonna play.
Oh, what am I gonna play?
You're gonna play the big black guy on a bike yelling at all the protesters.
Okay, give me a second. I'll find it.
You know what I'm talking about,
I do.
right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Big Joe? His name was?
I don't know his name, but I saw the clip.
Big Joe.
Yeah, you have it on your Facebook. Good. I'll cue it up. Give me.
All right, while Pat cues that up, just a reminder, thepressureprojectmembers.com. Check it out. Pat went over at the beginning of the show all the different benefits and content behind the scene. I should be starting my Star Trek podcast soon.
Good.
One of the things that I'm going to talk about on the Star Trek podcast, and it's similar to some of the things we were talking about today, I'm not going to talk about the value of the actors and actresses.
Okay.
It's going to be the actors and actresses' ability to portray the characters, but I'm not looking to make this a actor fan show.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. You were talking about what the character did,
the content of the show itself. Yeah. I just listened to another Star Trek podcast the other day.
Okay.
And they were talking about recasting The Next Generation, like
as a new show.
It was more of like what if, like if we were to recast.
Okay.
And fucking terrible. Oh my God, terrible.
Like what were they saying?
I'll give you an example. Riker.
Okay.
Right? Riker, one of the co-hosts of the show, said Daniel Radcliffe.
What the fuck?
It's like, why are you doing a Next Generation podcast?
That's a terrible
and
casting.
You think Riker should like
Harry Potter.
What are you fucking talking about?
No.
Picard, they had some woman.
No, they did. Why would they have a woman for Picard?
I don't fucking know.
Tom Hardy.
Data.
He already is Picard.
You know they said Data?
No, I don't.
David Bowie.
He's dead.
Well, they knew that.
It's still fucking like...
But But this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing this fucking podcast. Is because it's been co-opted by these groups of people that
are ruining it.
I wouldn't say ruining it.
I would.
Want to know why I wouldn't say ruining it? Because the show exists already. They can't remake episodes of the show. You know what I'm saying? The show is the show. I would say monopolizing a perspective. That's what they're doing. But you can't ruin the show.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
The show exists like a movie. They're ruining the movie now. Well, the movie's the movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got it queued up?
I got it queued up. Let me close this.
So, all right, guys. This is a video that I just discovered apparently like 2-3 days after everybody else in the country. But when I posted it, I was like, this guy is fucking incredible. And black guy, Women's March in L.A., Trump supporter, Big Joe. He's with this guy who I think is based in L.A., hashtag based in L.A. Just to give credit, he's the guy that got him talking. But just incredible piece. And, you want to say, all right, big black guy on a bike at a Women's March in L.A., probably not going to have a lot of fucking solid thinking and power. Not being racist in any way, but he's a big black guy on a bike at a Women's March.
Yeah.
You don't expect this to come out of his mouth, and he sounds a little bit like, who's the big, I don't know, what is, I guess it's a dog, right? Goofy? Goofy's a dog.
Goofy's a dog.
Who's the guy who's like Goofy's cousin?
Bluto?
Not Bluto. No.
I don't know.
That's a dog.
You're talking about like
the big cousin, the loud, obnoxious cousin.
You're talking about the kid show that they always play with the fucking.
Yes.
I don't know the guy's name, but I know
Ralph,
what you're talking about.
George,
some
something
big
like
motherfucker.
that.
Yeah, he's on that show where they have a fucking. I don't know what it's called. My daughter watches that show, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Kids, I've been through. Pete.
Pete.
He reminds me of Pete. His voice.
No, I can see it.
So I'm expecting admittedly, idiocy to come out of the guy's mouth. The exact opposite. The guy is fucking squared the fuck away. So, 7 minutes, 41 seconds. Check it out. And we'll be back right after this break, guys. Cool.
Sir, my name is Jeffrey. What is your name?
They call me Big Joe.
Big Joe. I can see why. Big Joe, what are you doing here today?
I'm just passing through. I have nothing to do with this whatever you want to call this. I don't even understand why they're having this. They had an inauguration yesterday, and now we have all this. What did Trump do for all of this to happen? He just came into office. What is this? I see signs of unity and love and peace, and yet at his inauguration, they were burning a McDonald's, a Starbucks, limousines, and anarchy in the streets. This is what is this? When he was elected, rightfully, by the majority of the country, that so even though there are half the country like this that disapprove, what about the other half that do like him? What about them? What about their feelings? When Obama was president and he pushed his political agenda, political correctness, and he pushed all his agendas, did you see people doing all this? No, because we united behind our American president and we stuck it out and everything. So what?
Yeah, can you come in here? Come in here. Come in here. Come in here. Come in.
Trump was not.
What made him not? When was he not elected?
Oblivious. You on a bicycle and you're oblivious. You're
electoral. What are you talking about? Wait a minute.
What do you think we're here for?
Trump.
We're here to make a change, and people like you are the reason there's still a problem.
Listen, I'm against political correctness. No, people like you with your political correctness agenda. Political correctness. You know what? Political correctness is un-American. Why you think? You know why Trump couldn't get anyone to his inauguration? Because of the McCarthyism Hollywood that was going to stigmatize somebody for supporting Trump. This is the United States of America. You could support Trump and still be without ostracizing. You want to ostracize someone and then you're going to turn around and make life difficult for them? That's political correctness is a disease.
I feel sorry for you.
I feel sorry for you because Planned Parenthood is a racist system. Margaret Sanger was a Planned Parenthood. You know what? Margaret Sanger thought very low of black people. She thought they were ignorant and they shouldn't exist and reproduce. And you know what Planned Parenthood is about? Planned Parenthood is to sterilize black people.
You cannot put down
You should be against Planned Parenthood. We shouldn't be funding any type of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a joke. And anyone that doesn't know their history, know your history about Margaret Sanger, the beginning of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is the most racist organization. Know your history before you start supporting some. Okay?
You see that? You try.
What? That's right, I'm not a woman. I'm a man. A straight man. I'm a man. A straight man. You know your history about Planned Parenthood. Do you know about Planned Parenthood? Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger, the whole reason for Planned Parenthood was to sterilize black people so they wouldn't reproduce.
There's people it's helping. There are people it's helping.
It changed with the rest of the world.
Yeah, okay, so Trump is not a racist. Trump is not all this here.
Trump,
He's
the
not a
moment he moves,
racist.
there's two words. I'm sorry. You can't speak
Sorry
those
to
words.
who? What? People that don't support him?
Everybody in the world that he
People that don't support him? I'm not offended by Trump. And half the country is not offended by Trump. So what about them? What about them? What about the rest of the country that's not offended by Trump? What about them? Huh? Well, everybody's afraid of you guys because if they stand up for Trump, they're deemed a racist and everything, and everybody's terrified. And you got them doing it because of political correctness and all this craziness. This is wrong. This is the United States of America. You don't like, you say he's not your president, then you shouldn't be here. Leave. Many of those elitist Hollywood people that said they were going to leave, they didn't leave. They're protesting now. You don't like him, you don't want to be here, then leave. This is a free country. What you're doing now, you're going to bring anarchy, and then you know what's going to happen? Martial law. And these freedoms that you're talking about now, you're going to lose them. And then you're going to understand what a real situation. You have people in this group who are socialists, who are anti-American and anti-our freedom, and they're latching on your different causes, and they're playing on your emotions so that they can get you all riled up, so that you can turn around and continue to do what you're doing and divide the country, and then bring about chaos and anarchy so that they can bring martial law. That's what's really going on. Open your eyes and use your head. That's what's happening. I know for a fact, I've seen these socialists in your group. I've seen them at rallies. They even make signs for you people. And you don't understand what's going on. You have to open your eyes. You better be smart. You might have some good causes and everything, but you need to choose your battles. Trump didn't do anything yet. Choose your battles correctly. Use your head. Huh? Education, what's the problem? What is Trump doing about education? He just got into office. Huh? Education, not for nothing. I'm going to tell you something right now. Everybody is being, the controlled media, education has taught you guys that you're following the controlled media, that whoever they demonize, you just automatically follow. And that's what education does for you, then we need to change it. Because you shouldn't be like that. You should be free thinkers, and you should be able to see right from wrong. You don't? Because you're following whoever, someone gets on TV and says, this is so, and then you just follow it? That's not using your head. That's not being smart. People, wake up, be smart. Okay, you want to be logical, you want to be smart, but don't follow all this nonsense just because you want to be. There's so many people that supported Trump, but they were afraid to openly support him. But you know when they supported him? In the voting booth. And that's what all of you people didn't understand. A lot of people supported Trump, but they were afraid. They're even your friends, but they were afraid to tell you they supported him. And you know what? When they went to the voting booth, they voted for him. And that's where all of you people right now, all of you people are now shocked because you couldn't believe that he could be elected, because nobody thought he would have been elected. But guess what? He is elected, and he is our president. And you need to unite behind him now, because you know what? If you continue to do what you're doing, you are going to divide this country. You are going to bring about martial law. You're going to lose your rights. You're going to lose your freedoms. And then your biggest fear, he will be a dictator then. You better be smart, people. You don't understand what's about ready to happen. Wake up and be smart.
Awesome. So,
You saw the sign behind him? No human is illegal. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's a sign. Lady had a sign behind him, no human is illegal.
we like to say undocumented. Yeah, well, you know, some men like to call themselves a woman. They're like, we also support that.
Did you see the other thing? The guy who posted the video, it has to be a joke though. Age, he's trans age. You didn't see that yet?
It's gotta be a joke.
It looked real. The guy's like, I am now a 6-year-old girl. He's like,
oh yeah! He's like, he had kids and shit.
He had kids, he left his family, and he was adopted by these other people, and they treat him as a 6-year-old girl. He's like, I'm a 6-year-old girl now. I play, and I do.
You see, you have the tendency, and I think this is a good segue into what I wanted to talk about next.
Yeah.
You have this tendency to react, to almost overreact when you are exposed just to how ludicrous some of these people are. The problem with overreacting is we wind up being pulled out of our character. We wind up getting pulled off of our mission. And it's almost a receiver type reaction to these people's actions. You know, they are dictating our actions by just being ridiculously, obscenely ludicrous.
Yeah.
I've always said mock the weak, right?
Yep.
When you mock the weak, what happens is you remove their ability to gain honor within the tribe. You remove their ability to gain status in the tribe. You laugh at them, so later on you don't have to kill them. And I say that in a historic sense.
Yeah,
you know.
course.
The
Not
thing
literally,
is, when I make fun of you,
yeah,
it is an alternative to eliminating you.
yeah,
So when you have these people that, you know, and this is how, you know, the laws are developed. Laws are developed to sort of reinforce a certain agreement or lifestyle or culture, you know, of the people. Well, what winds up happening is the culture starts to be led by the laws and not the other way around. So now whoever is controlling the laws starts to influence the culture. Well, we're at a point now where our culture needs to be refreshed. And we need to not be led by the laws that are there. So this past week, and it was a pretty big deal on social media, Richard Spencer,
yep.
Who I know and have a great deal of respect for. He's been on the podcast before. Richard Spencer was giving a talk on a corner in D.C. I think it was Inauguration Day. And was blindsided by one of these Antifa faggots and got punched in his face. Wound up walking it off and ended the interview. And you saw two main things. And just so I don't forget, I'll say them. The first one, and I'll get into them because I tend to exaggerate one and forget the second. The first one, sort of more my brain works.
That's good.
The first
Yeah.
is you had these people who validated that as a response to Richard Spencer.
Yes.
Then you had a whole bunch of people on what would appear to be initially our side of the fence saying he was a pussy for walking away.
Yeah, those were the two.
So let's deal with those two.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, before that, just real quick, was it a setup? Was the interviewer in on him getting punched? I got it.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. During the interview, you know, he is people are, he's responding to people who are standing there. He's like, no, I'm not a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, they don't like
no,
me.
those people don't like me. No, and he gets hit. So the people who think it's okay to hit Richard Spencer, understand Richard Spencer never argued for violence. He never represented violence. He has ideas that are completely unpopular. He has ideas that make people emotional. But at no point has he ever said or advocated for violence against other people, certainly not other American citizens. So to support physical violence for what amounts to nothing more than somebody's ideas, that is, ironically, the seeds of fascism.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't agree with you, so I'm going to physically assault you or physically intimidate you or physically remove you from the equation.
Yeah, stop you from talking.
Right, I'm going to stop you from talking physically.
Yeah.
So, to people who think it's okay, that we hit people we don't agree with, you got to understand there's a reason why the Westboro Baptist Church people are permitted to picket, fallen soldiers' funerals. There's a reason why you can have, ultra racist, neo-Nazi groups operate out in the open publicly. There's a reason why you have all sorts of very, very sort of conflict-based, contrary to harmony type identities able to publicly, create a conversation. And we have freedom of speech.
Yep.
So when you remove the ability to express ideas because of a fear or a very real expectation of there being violence done to you for expressing that, you alter just the nature of what American society was founded upon. Right? We're supposed to be able to handle any type of discourse so long as it remains within the realm of discourse.
Yep.
As soon as you remove that, what winds up happening is you change the currency in the exchange to violence.
Yeah.
And what so many of those people don't understand, and this isn't some unique insight that I'm sharing, this is widely known and accepted, I would say, these people are not prepared for that conversation. We're the ones who are protecting them by not using that type of currency as a primary means of dealing with them.
100%.
I say mock the weak. I don't say kill the weak. I don't say, fucking smash the weak. I don't say,
crush the weak.
Like, or physically at least.
Yeah, physically.
Because then it becomes less than the society that we created. I always say that the Constitution is the compromise. How do we take all of these seemingly incompatible cultures and allow them to be very much compatible? You create a sort of document, or you create an agreement, a compromise of ideas, whereby everybody agrees to operate within this scope of behavior.
Yeah.
So for all of these people that want to be violent, all these people that, we're going to opt instead to physically assault people, because that is our form of currency when we look to deal our resistance, our criticism, our rejection, our protest. I, for one, am of the mindset, and I've seen a lot of people recently express this in their own ways. If one unit of violence is done upon us in terms of, or in the name of protest or intimidation, at least 10 units of violence need to be given back to them in the name of an argument for free speech and discourse. If somebody, and I've said this before, if I'm walking down the street and there are a bunch of protesters, and because of my beliefs, they think they're going to physically harm me, they're getting 100% of what I'm prepared to give. You know, Richard Spencer is, and I've said this before on social media, he's beyond the point where, you know, he could go around without a personal security detail.
True.
You know, whether he wants to admit it or not, it is what it is. There's a certain point where it's like, all right, Richard, you know, it is what it is. Like, some people, they say, listen, if I wind up getting murdered for giving a speech, then so be it. There's an argument that, or a position held by many, that Malcolm X knew he was going to die and still decided to keep doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
You have Socrates, you know, fucking drank the hemlock.
Yeah.
So there's that. You know, and I concede that, but there needs to be the whole air of I can't believe this is happening needs to be removed from somebody like Richard Spencer. Like, this is what's going to happen because this is the state of America as it stands now.
100%. Yeah.
To move to the second thing, the people who are saying that he shouldn't have run. Shouldn't have run away.
Shouldn't have run away,
so shouldn't have run then.
Yeah.
People are saying that, he should have fought, he should have came back. To put it as nicely as possible, which I don't know why I'm trying to do that, but to put it as nicely as possible, you just don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. You don't understand what you're talking about. Now, to ask somebody like me, well, what would I do in that situation? I'd have to say before answering that I would never be in that situation.
That's true.
I would never be giving a speech on a corner where I don't have a security detail watching my six while I'm amongst people who I know absolutely emotionally hate me.
Yeah. And there's things that we haven't done for the podcast specifically due to those security protocols, you know.
I run a very, very intentional security protocol, a security detail. Tuan Tom says it's the best. He says, you know, you are your family's personal security detail.
Every time you go out with them.
Every time you go out with them, you are their PSD.
Yeah.
And what are you doing with your family? Like these people that, like I remember during the election or during the campaigning, there was that one white family, I think it was in L.A., where the father's like holding the kids and they're walking through like some rally and they're being berated and like spit upon by onlookers, and it's like, why do you have your fucking family there? Like that's fucking retarded.
Not a smart
Well, you should be able to. Well, should. Oh, is that the argument where we're designing our life around? What should be done? You know, the woman who's drunk in a mini skirt walking down an alley in a city somewhere at 3 a.m.
She should be allowed.
She should be allowed. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's gonna get raped. You know, we could argue she should be raped. By the way, you know, because when she's raped, it creates a deterrence to that type of behavior, so that future rapes don't occur. But when you talk about Richard Spencer, if I'm in that situation, I just happen to find myself in a situation because that's a big concession.
Yeah, it is. That's.
And I'm getting hit. I don't know if it's a distraction. I don't know if one person hits me, another guy comes from behind and fucking shoves an ice pick in my heart.
Where you chase that guy into a fucking crowd.
I chase that guy into a crowd of, you know, a trap that's waiting for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got hit with a gun. I don't know if I got hit with one hand while the guy had a weapon in the other hand and he hit me out of reach. I don't know what is happening. I don't know if everybody that's surrounding me is in on a fucking plan to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
I don't know if the camera that's interviewing me is even on. I don't know who these people are. I don't know.
There's a lot of layers to it.
To sit there and say, oh, he should have like, have you ever been in a fucking fight? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, it's the guys that, or a similar argument, I don't know if it's the same guys that argue, you know, that type of hunting is cowardly. You know, the animal doesn't even have a chance. What the fuck do you think hunting is? Hunting is killing.
Yeah.
Hunting is finding and killing. Hunting isn't, I'm going to go fight an animal today. You know? So
what animal am I going to fight today?
So this idea of, oh, you got hit, you should sit there. Oh, yeah? And if you're with your wife and kids and a couple of guys start cursing you and they call your wife a whore, should you sit there and defend her honor and fight her? It's like, no, you fucked up, you idiot.
Yep.
All the opportunities to be that guy, you've already sabotaged. You can't be that guy. By all means, take a mental picture of what the guy looks like, you know, but you have a priority.
Yeah.
Also, for Richard Spencer right there, do I think he walked away because he's a pussy? Whether he walked away, Richard Spencer has never shown himself to be a pussy to me.
Correct.
Right? Everything that he's shown me is that he's a provocateur. He is somebody who has a position and an argument and a philosophy that incites people who disagree with him, triggers them emotionally, you know. But do I think Richard Spencer's a pussy? Like, when you start calling somebody a pussy, we spoke about it last week, you know, this idea of what a coward is.
Yeah.
You know, a coward, as my son so succinctly put it, is somebody who's too scared to do their job. Richard Spencer's job is to not fight Antifa on the corner of some fucking protest. That's not his job. So how could he be a coward for not choosing to do that? You know, the people who are talking about it just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know? I've been in more fights than the majority of people in this country. I've never been at war. When you talk to people who have been to war and have become, and this is a new sort of concept that I've been thinking about, people who war has made stronger, people who are of an anti-fragile makeup, an anti-fragile character, an anti-fragile identity, that the experience of war has improved upon their ability to be themselves. You know, the people like that you and I know are not people that make these emotional, rash decisions. You know, and I'm not going to call out any names, but a couple of people, and it's not just one person, but a few people on social media who are criticizing Richard Spencer for leaving. It was very tempting to be like, have you ever been in a fucking fight? Because you don't know what the fuck you're fucking talking about right now. And I guarantee you, at least half of these people, I'd bet the house that if somebody slapped the shit out of them on a fucking street corner, they might be crying as they're running away.
Yeah.
You know, so,
yeah.
You know, is you know, Richard Spencer fighting on the corner supposed to be the litmus test of validation for his ideas? Richard Spencer isn't trying to be known as a fighter, by the way. Richard Spencer has ideas that he wants to debate. He wants to put out there, expose them to the public, and enter into any sort of productive discourse, armed with those ideas. You know, sitting there and saying, you know, number one, it's okay to hit people we disagree with, and then to say, oh, you know, if somebody hits you, you know, you're a pussy if you leave. Like, you are conflating so many fucking different ideas that only reality could sort of explain to you. You know, the thing is, we're so far removed from a natural living. We're so far removed from that realistic type of experience, you know, whereby the things we do have consequences based in reality. You know, by and large, you know, citizens of today's America, for example, just don't even know where one thing ends and another begins. Like, they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
It's like animal in the zoo getting released into the wild. It's like, like they're living under a false pretense, and then if the reality visits them, they think they know what they're going to do, but they really don't.
All right, we got a call.
Cool.
What's up? You're on the air. Did you turn this off?
I didn't touch it.
Did you plug it in?
I didn't touch it at all.
It might be out of juice.
I will plug it in.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Hello?
Can you hear me, gentlemen?
I can hear you. Who's Ricardo?
Of course.
What's up, brother man? How you doing?
Plugged in.
I'm good, brother. How are you?
All is well.
This thing you just awesome. Yeah, this thing you just brought up about Richard Spencer, I just wanted to say that I think you're 100% on the mark, and additionally, these motherfuckers that are complaining, it's like, oh, he should have done this, should have done that, aside from not understanding what it is to be in a fight, they don't understand second and third order levels of effect.
Yep.
So if he gets into a fight, say he punches that guy back, who actually, by the way, eats shit in porno videos, literally eats women's shit in porno videos. If he gets into a fight with him on the street corner, and they, of course, the media will then rip him apart, because all they will show is one clip of him busting that guy into mush.
Yep.
And that will be, oh, look, Richard Spencer, hate monger. Oh, he's trying to legitimize his position in discourse, not force it down people's throats, which is what people are trying to accuse him of being a fascist.
Right.
Trying to take power by force. So he understands that if he does get into that conflict, aside from the reasons that you mentioned, I don't know why he didn't have a security detail. I think he was maybe fucking up a little bit on that, given the threats that have been put out against him. But the second and third order levels of effect for him punching that little fuck in the mouth, they would have been horrible for his movement. So he's pretty smart. I mean, I've met him too, so I think he's a pretty smart guy. He definitely would have been on the losing end of that when it would have been displayed to the public.
Yeah, and the people, when he gets hit on a street corner in the public, most people have absolutely no reference in their own experience to sort of recruit to help them better understand, the state of mind or even the circumstances, of that moment. The last thing, and I'm somebody who is all about violence when necessary. I've trained my whole life for it. When I'm thinking of that situation, somebody hits me on a street corner, I'm not thinking, oh, fight that man one-on-one in this tribalistic duel for the honor and respect of my reputation amongst the people who I respect and am connected to, like, through legacy and such. Like, what the fuck are these people talking about? But their level of understanding. Right. It's very much an in-tribe concept. And people's level of understanding is so just underdeveloped, so naive, so ignorant. They make everything worse. You wind up getting guys who agree or know a minimum that society needs to be strengthened, society needs to be improved by creating strength or bringing strength back to a position of virtue, but they reduce it to this, tough guy fucking nonsense, this tough guy babble, this fucking macho caricature of what, being a masculine, warrior, archetype in a society should be,
Oh, of course. I mean, you know what I do for a living, and I can tell you probably more than 90%, if not more, of Americans, I've had that honor duel shoved in my face over and over again. Well, why don't you just do this and that, and then we'll fight on equal terms? I said, no, you think I actually respect you? Is that what you're thinking? Right. Are you thinking that this is about my honor? Because my honor is untouched. You want to take the prize, you got to take the whole prize. You don't just get. We're not in tribe, brother.
Right. Absolutely.
You and me are not on equal levels right now. You understand that?
Right. Yeah, it's it's pretty frustrating. I wanted to ask you, since I got you on, the conversation we were having earlier. Who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man super, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Batman, greatest hero. Greatest hero.
His sense of responsibility. The way he's written, it depends on who writes him. Originally, Spider-Man's big deal was that he had a sense of responsibility, that he had a burden of honor. He had a debt of honor that he had to fulfill.
Uncle Ben, right.
But he refuses to be, no matter how strong his enemy, like he's fought the Juggernaut, Fire Lord, he fights anybody, and he never quits. Spider-Man's strongest superpower isn't really a superpower, it's that he refuses to give up.
He made a great Green Lantern.
There's a series of stories, if you're ever interested, I can point you at them, where they kind of take him through time and show like all the things that he's done and all the enemies that he's faced. And the one thing that runs as a constant circle throughout all of his stories is that he just refuses to quit. And his sense of responsibility is so strong that he holds himself to such a high account that he just refuses to give up. And when I was a kid, I always found that admirable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Spider-Man's
good.
solid. He's one of the guys I read.
My kid's favorite superhero.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
Solid. I'm looking forward to the movie.
Yeah, what do you think about the new direction they're going with him, Ricardo?
Oh well, Marvel Comics in general is cucked itself to the extreme. They're terrible. I mean the whole. I listen to a number of I like comics, so I pay attention to them, and I've seen what Marvel Comics has done. Marvel Comics has kind of decided that they're going to make things new and interesting by introducing all these social justice concepts into all of their books all at once without any real reason. There's no rhyme or reason behind them. Like, what? We're going to make this guy gay, and we're going to make this guy a transsexual, and we're going to make this guy a woman, and we're going to make this guy a man. It makes no sense. They're just throwing it at the wall because they're trying to find something that sticks. Now, some of the writing's good. Like on Thor, the writing is good, but although they made Thor a woman, but now Thor has a resurgence because they brought back the original Odin son, and that's killing it.
Right.
So people actually still wanted the Odin son. They didn't want the female Thor. They just kind of said, well, you wrote her well, so, we'll put up with it. But now that the Odin son's back, it's fucking awesome,
Right.
But I don't like what I think they ran out of ideas, or they kind of strapped themselves on their creative pool, going for profit. And they've now kind of backed themselves into a little bit of a corner where it comes to they kind of like throw all these new concepts that really don't make any sense to the traditions of the character. As far as Spider-Man himself goes, his particular story, they've restarted it so many times, I've lost track.
Yeah.
Right.
What about the movie?
The upcoming movie. What do you think about that?
The upcoming Spider-Man movie, I like what they do with that character in the movie. He's a lot closer to, I remember reading when I was a kid, they used to have the original 60 Spider-Mans in these little digests that I used to get at Walden Books. I'm dating myself now. The Walden Books didn't even fit.
Walden Books, man. Walden Books, I was there.
Walden Books. Yes, sir. Yep. So you and I are closer in age than most. So,
right.
But they used to get paperbacks. They used to have little digests that had all the original Spider-Man issues in them from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And that character, there's a lot of elements that I'm seeing in this kid that they're using in the new movie that harken back to that character, but they kind of jazzed him up a little bit for the for the modern audience, made him a little bit more. He's still nerdy, but he's just slightly more hip.
Right.
The original Spider-Man was really a dweeb. He's really kind of like the what would they call him, a Forbisher.
Right.
He's an old New York term. He's like Martin Forbish, he's just like this everyman kind of schlub that just wandered around and everything, nothing went his way until he became Spider-Man. But I think there's potential for it. I'm kind of curious. I really like what Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I think he's going to be actually a pretty good Vulture. I did not think they could pull it off, but when I saw him in the costume, I was really impressed. I was like, no, man, they're actually going to make him somewhat, because the Vulture's an old man with a bunch of birds, and he's terrible.
Yeah, it's a fucking terrible character.
But what they did with Michael Keaton actually looks pretty good.
Well, ironically, wasn't Michael Keaton's other movie called Birdman?
He was Birdman.
Yeah, it was.
I still didn't see that movie.
I guarantee you, his for his portrayal of the Vulture would be better than that movie. That is completely a fucking waste of time, in my opinion. One of these artsy, like, they're so together. But anyway, so, my kids, they, they're a little young to feel a responsibility to think critically about comic book stuff.
Sure.
But, I always ask them which Spider-Man did I like so far. You have Tobey Maguire, and then you have Peter
Spider-Man.
Parkowitz.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. The difference between the two, I think, is pretty vast. But I think neither one of them really represent what this young kid seems to bring to the table. Which I've always, when I conceptualize Spider-Man, it's always the young nerd, and not very like physically, sort of capable. Without the Spider-Man abilities, but this sort of almost kid-like, youthful sort of energy, I think this kid does a good job with so far,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a New Yorker. I mean, that's the thing that they need to play across. The fact that they did that in the last movie, but I mean, they did it in the Avengers movie too when he was talking to Captain America. Like, where are you from, kid? And he said Queens, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
it's really he's that very New York character in some respects,
right?
Which I always thought was pretty cool.
So Mary Jane's going to be like a black girl, right?
No, it's not Mary Jane.
What's up?
It's not.
No.
What is it?
It's another character.
So I had thought early on that they had casted a Mary Jane character as being a black girl, but Pat's saying no. Do you know about that?
That was the rumor.
Yeah, it was just a rumor.
That was the rumor, but now she's going to be some other character. She may still be the love interest. I have no idea what they're doing with all that. I mean, it's all fucking discombobulated when it comes to how they cast that portion of the movie. They're trying to make it like one of those Sweet 16 movies in some respects, right?
Right. Right.
Forget the director's name, John something or other.
That girl definitely seems like the object of his affection for the movie, but not a Mary Jane or a what are the other one? Emma, whatever the fuck.
Emma. Yeah. I don't know. It's all a cluster. What do you think about the Old Man Logan movie coming out, or Logan, I think it's called?
The Logan movie, yeah. I did want to talk about that. I'm torn in two directions on it because for me, like you said, you have very specific needs that you request out of your entertainment. And that was one of the things that always killed me about Wolverine is that they wouldn't make him. He wasn't Wolverine. I mean, even the classic run on Wolverine was the Chris Claremont, John Byrne run from the 70s and 80s, where he was just tearing motherfuckers up. The Hellfire Club, he guts the one guy, and John Byrne drew the picture of like how it would. They had to tone it down for the comic, but then he drew a sketch. He's like, yeah, this is what actually happened. It shows him just disemboweling the guy. That's what Wolverine is. He's violence. I mean, he's another one of my favorites as well. But he should be violent, and you can't have 3 adamantium fucking razor sharp, unbreakable claws sticking out of your hands that you hit someone in the face with and not have their face come apart. I mean, it makes no sense. But that's exactly what they did in the X-Men movies. He was slashing guys up, and they were just falling down like it never, never happened.
Like razors in a prison fight.
Yeah, but even worse. I mean, their heads just should have been separated, into 3 sections like a piece of fruit. Right. And that's what it looks like they're doing in this new movie. So in that respect, I'm very behind it. The X-23 thing, I went back and I looked at, that Marvel Digital thing. I went back and looked at it and kind of got her backstory. The story is pretty tight. I don't think Wolverine needs to be a girl. I think she can be her own character, but they got her as the actual Wolverine right now.
Yep.
And the fact, like you said, the fact that they made him weak. I mean, the story Old Man Logan was supposed to be a one-shot, what-if, future version. It was a cool extension of the story, but it was a possible future that was not supposed to be. This is Wolverine forever now. Got Parkinson's disease.
Well, now they brought him in, though. They killed actual Wolverine, and they brought Old Man Logan in.
Something that just kind of...
it's
just supposed to be, this is what would happen if this series of events happened. Kind of like Days of Future Past, right?
Yeah,
right. But then now they've kind of made him like, this is the only Wolverine there is right now. And then you got this girl. I was like,
So what do you mean? What are you talking about?
They took Wolverine that we know died. They encased him in adamantium. He's like on a mountain somewhere.
Correct.
Encased in adamantium.
Like Han Solo.
Like Han Solo in adamantium. They brought Old Man Logan from the alternate timeline into the current timeline. So now he's around. Old Man Logan is pretty much the only Wolverine.
You're talking about what is being written right now in the present
Correct.
comics.
And X-23 is Wolverine. Like, she's the...
Oh, yeah. I see. I mean, there's a certain point where you kind of understand that they need to fucking write about something, you know?
They run out of shit.
It's like, you know, but it's like some of these fucking valleys that we have to endure waiting for the next peak. You know, it's fucking painful sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what divides the guys that are like long-term. You know, they're like, oh, how much do I have to put up with before this gets good again? You know?
Right. All right, Ricardo, we're going to let you go, brother. I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
And I'll probably talk to you next week at a minimum.
Of course. Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
Bye, guys.
Productive call, as always, from my man Ricardo. We got a couple of questions here I want to answer.
Okay.
Based White Man asks, is this guy talking about movies? Yeah, we were talking about movies and you asked that. Sam Stern.
Yeah.
What's up, Big Sam? He says, MC, is liberalism something that can only exist in a wealthy society like ours? It doesn't seem to exist on National Geographic and the Animal Kingdom. Absolutely. We've said it before. There are these cultures of specialization, right? And I'll talk about the whole sect, right, subset of our society that has become adept at exploiting the social programs that are offered, by our government. And, I know many of them. I'm related to many of them, where they know how to generate this sort of police report, to create this response and opportunity, to create this benefit that in turn could be transferred and amplified by this circumstance. Sometimes it's the girlfriend who says she was beat up by her boyfriend because the domestic violence charge will get her transferred into a women's shelter, which will receive some sort of priority in getting housing, and it'll also fast track her to the food benefits. And there's this whole subset of our society that has learned and mastered this process, this ability. You have this other subset of our society that is productive in a general sense, meaning they create a product, they run a service, whatever the case is, but their political identity and their political leanings are very much contradictory to the actual processes that they benefit from productively. You have the multi-million-dollar CEO of some startup that has political leanings that are anti-capitalist. These things don't fit. But the thing is, and this is getting on the point that I'm making to answer your question. These specialized subsets, these subset cultures, subset identities, can only exist within the greater set of a culture that navigates reality properly. So we need to have a minimum level of strength before we can support these other things. Think of it as, and I've used this analogy before, League of Societies or levels of economic status in societies around the world. And what type of societies have pets, right? So here in America, we have pets. We not only have pets, but we have pets that we treat like humans. There are people who like I remember my wife when my wife came to live with me. We had only known each other for 3 weeks, and we're already married. But I gave her a last name before I knew her own. I had a dog, and she didn't understand that the dog was inside. Not that she didn't understand, like, intellectually. Like, why is
Why dog inside? It wasn't like that.
Right. It wasn't like that, but in Brazil, and having visited her family a bunch of times, they all grew up with a dog, but the dog stayed in a doghouse outside.
Yeah.
Dogs don't go in the homes in Brazil. It's not typical of where they are. You go to some parts of China, they love dogs with a little bit of mutton when the mutton's nice and lean.
And the lettuce is just right.
Right. So we not only don't eat dogs, we not only let dogs in the home.
Yeah.
Some people let dogs sleep in the beds with them. Some people bring dogs to beauty parlors.
The spas. They get massages.
They have wardrobes. So when you look at how we treat pets, it's a great representation of what levels or increasing levels of strength in a society will afford that society. We have, as a greater society here in America, we have these pet cultures, these subset cultures that we provide for, we take care of. You know, the thing about these pet cultures, though, very similar and parallel to the actual pet analogy I've been using, they can no longer survive in their natural habitat. Feral versions of themselves will prey upon them. And that's what we have right now. You have these people. I remember this one clip from last week that the amount of absurdity I was not able to emotionally process.
There's a lot of those.
Like, you know, sometimes you just look at something and, like, you just don't have the word to do justice to the just a feeling of absurdity and
what the fuck is
disbelief.
going on?
Yeah. That's what you want to scream,
Yeah.
right?
You're like the blind kid playing football.
It was the clip where a woman physically attacked a man. The man punched her in the face.
Yeah.
And then you had multiple individuals dressed in black with black bandanas covering their face. These were the Antifa protesters recruiting a police officer to arrest the man. So this is the absurdity that goes on here. And he was saying, he just hit a woman. I can't believe you. How come you're not arresting him? He just hit a woman. So you have these people who are here to protest authority, protest the police state, all these different things, requesting the police to do police work, number one.
That's, in and of itself, is fucking
retarded.
nuts. Yeah.
You have him making the distinction. He hit a woman. He hit a woman. Why is that perception even on the radar of somebody who claims that there's no difference between men and women?
Yeah, why was he so binary?
Why is there some sort of extra, crime being done because it was a man hitting a woman? Why is that on the radar? Why is it that these people did not take it upon themselves to enact violence on this guy? So it is the unwillingness to actually protect their own, the recruitment of an authority force that you are there to protest. It is the added violation in your mind of the man hitting a woman when you represent the narrative that there are no men and women differences to be spoken of. That all add to this scene, this portrait of the absurdity of America in 2017.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at that, it's exactly what what Sam you're asking about, it's exactly just a testament to how many pet cultures we have here. We're so strong. We have many, many pets. And we take care of these pets. But what's going to wind up happening is we're going to wind up getting to a point where we understand these pets are now sabotaging our ability to be productive. They're sabotaging our ability to be able to provide for pets in the first place.
Yeah.
When your pet dog starts destroying all of your furniture, when your pet dog keeps peeing on your work computer, when your pet dog keeps biting your girlfriend and friends when they come over, when your pet dog develops some sort of a disease and needs medical attention that is beyond your financial means for providing such medical attention, like, you say, you know what, maybe it's time to not have a pet for a while. And that is what society is experiencing now.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the dog collector. Right? Donald Trump is the guy that, for the most part, is being charged with removing these pets, eliminating these pet cultures, getting us back on track to what actually matters. I remember arguing with a friend of not arguing, this back and forth on social media really isn't arguing, but a childhood friend. I was in grammar school with him, elementary school with him, and super liberal lawyer, and he had put something, I don't know if it was about Trump needs to be resisted, or it might have been the education secretary hearing, whatever the case was. But his message was one of, just almost complete anarchy. Like, we need to oppose this government no matter what. And it's like one of those things you ever want to comment and you write about 20 comments but just delete it. You type this whole thing, delete, type the whole thing, delete. I did that, and what wound up being my message to him was, maybe shit was simpler in the 6th grade, but when did you become such an emotional thinker?
Yeah.
And he insulted me, I understand, repressing emotion and weakness is your shtick. He said something like that.
Of course.
And it's like,
dismissing it.
Reality is my shtick, actually.
Yeah.
But, it was baffling to me that you have people who are looking at the president, right? Donald Trump is our president.
Yes, President Donald Trump.
President Trump. And whether you agree with it or not, it's like you do understand he's the captain of the ship we're all on. So I absolutely abhorred Barack Obama. But there is not a moment where I would have said, I hope he really fails. Just so I could be right.
That's like wishing the pilot to crash.
That is the pinnacle, by the way, of narcissism that you see in American society. I'm willing to let the whole country suffer so I could be right. So I could win. So I could do it for the likes.
Yeah,
right?
Told you so.
Told you I'm right.
Yeah.
I should have the most friends, right? Is that how this works? And that is I'm sorry, it's not a symmetrical scenario. We weren't. There are plenty of people who hated Barack Obama right from the beginning because he was black. A lot of people hated Obama for not so trivial reasons. They hated him because he didn't deserve to be fucking president. Because he was a fucking nobody that never did anything. A lot of people hated him for his ideologies. I hate the meme that was shared.
Or was it?
It's so fucking just so simplistic and cheap. The one that shows a bunch of people criticizing Obama, like hanging there Obama, like with a noose and shit, and then the modern anti-Trump things, and they're like, like something to the effect of, you weren't complaining when it was people saying about Obama. Like, there was nothing done even remotely on the scale against Obama that we're seeing against Trump. To compare the two and say that because in both instances it occurred that they're somehow equal is just completely fucking biased and manipulative and just insincere. Obama, a lot of people hated Obama, but by and large, the people that are on the opposite end of the political spectrum never wanted him to fail.
True.
I never wanted Obama to, because I had the wherewithal to understand if the president of the United States fails, the United States fails.
Yeah, and we happen to live in the United States.
And I happen to live in the United States.
So that directly affects us.
But
you're definitely true. You're seeing that a lot of people want him to fail.
And mind you, he hasn't even been in office a week.
No. He signed some executive orders.
He's getting some shit done already. I'll tell you that much.
But
says he's going to build the wall again.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, this thing is, like, people, it's like, all right, let's see what happens.
Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Yep.
Pulled us out.
Yep.
Which I hate because it monopolizes the TPP on social engine, search engine.
Not anymore.
Things. Well, hopefully.
They got rid of it.
Hopefully.
He did a couple other things. In his executive orders. We'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. He's our president, so
but I think if you ask these people, like, do you want him to succeed? Which is an entirely different question than any sort of political, interpretation or positioning.
Yeah.
Do you want the president of the United States to succeed? That's a gimme question, by the way.
Should be yes. Instantly.
Always.
Yes.
And always.
No. It's like, what the fuck? Well, he's not their president, though.
Right.
Right?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I was tempted the other day. I haven't made a shirt in a while. I was going to make a shirt, the one with the map of the United States. Like, if you live anywhere here,
he's your president.
He is your president. But I decided against it. I got better ideas. But the thing that gets me is I recall having a debate with somebody once about religion, and this is when I was at the
pinnacle,
the pinnacle, the peak of the apex of my anti-theism. Mm-hmm. Right, I wouldn't call it atheism. I was beyond that. I was like, burn the churches. And somebody had asked me, well, what bit of evidence could I even show you to prove to you that God is real? And I said, none. Like, it's impossible to convince me that your story is real, because the very premise that I would have to concede, I'm not willing to concede. That premise being that it is even possible for an Abrahamic God to exist.
Yeah.
Or that there is some sort of proof that would prove and eliminate any other possibility of an explanation for this being the case. And I said, this is why we're at an impasse. I said, because your story is so ludicrous to me. There is nothing, that could prove that it's so. And I acknowledged that we were at an impasse because of that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when you're talking about Trump is a very real person. He's a very real president with very real responsibilities. But there are people who hold that same position. There's nothing that would make me support Trump.
Yeah. There's people that say that.
Really? What if Hillary Clinton, or let's say Bernie Sanders, because he's got a lot more emotional people. Hillary Clinton's got crazy women.
Yeah.
And blacks for some reason. Let's say Bernie Sanders found a way through technology to possess the brain of Donald Trump.
Like inner space?
Yes. What would Bernie Sanders do that Donald Trump will not. I've asked multiple anti-Trump people this. They refuse to answer. Because they know they'd have to concede then that there are things Donald Trump could do that they would have to support.
Yeah. And they refuse to do that.
You can't take these people seriously.
No.
You cannot take these people seriously. No. You know?
Yeah.
American Viking, Mad Dog, first day captured ISIS leader. He went to fucking work immediately. Everybody I speak to in the military, when talking about Mad Dog Mattis, they say he's a warrior's warrior. You know, they say he's always had the respect of the people who, you know, put their lives on the line, you know, for the operations that the military are a part of. So him being chosen was an incredible sort of win, a victory for the Trump administration's move towards making America great again.
Yeah.
What have you noticed on your social media concerning these first days of Trump's administration?
Well, the first day I noticed a lot of people I needed to remove from my social media, you know, just because I like seeing the other side of the coin, the people that have opposing views, but there are some that are just useless. You know, the not my president hashtag, like if I had some people that I saw doing that, I'm just not, like, I don't need to see what they have to write. You know, the men who are going to the Women March, like, I don't need to be a part of that either. You know, like, all that stuff goes into the realm of just being silly. You know, it's he's not my president. It's like, he's your president.
Did you see?
There's a cognitive dissonance that I just don't want to be a part of.
Did you see the guy who had a sign, ex-Marine, my first protest?
I saw that. Complete nonsense. Is he really, I mean,
the idea, you know what I've noticed about this protest?
Yeah.
It is a stage for virtue signaling. It is a stage. The stage in the theater of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
You can literally make a sign where hundreds of people will come and pat you on the back. Ex-Marine, my first protest.
Now, I'm not a Marine,
like,
but I thought it was once a Marine, always a Marine. There's no such thing.
Number one, that is the thing.
As an
right?
ex-Marine.
Absolutely. You don't refer to yourself as an ex-Marine. But let's just say he said, well, I'm no longer a Marine. Let's just say that.
So,
you are somebody who literally made a sign so that people can congratulate you.
Yeah.
That you see everywhere. You see that. You see the signs that are made by political organizations and handed out at protests.
Yeah. You see vaginas with middle fingers.
You see, I love the sign on the whole pile of trash, where the one sign said, you know, don't destroy Mother Earth.
Don't trash Mother Earth.
And it was like a sign thrown on the street when they were done with it.
And like they throw, they're about the environment. They only litter by Trump's building. It's like, so that's what makes it all right. You're supposed to be like this, save the earth, but I'm only going to litter by his building. Like, that's still fucking stupid.
Right. At some point, it's, you know, like, I could relate to the thought process of not wanting to participate in the process that an enemy is relegating me to. You know, it's like, if you disagree with the government, I need you to fill out this form, and we will look into it. I understand saying fuck that.
Yeah.
But protesting, by and large, is fucking useless.
Yeah.
It is complaining in public with other complainers.
The best clip, which, I mean, it's too perfect and it's real, is that woman sitting on the ground screaming no as he's being sworn in. That's the best summary of it all. It's like, there's your protest right there. That's what it does. He's getting sworn in and you're sitting on the ground screaming no.
Right.
Like, it's like, what good did that do you? You know, it almost like, I mean, I saw that clip, I was like, man, that'd be a smart, like, for the good side to pay someone to do that, because it's so ridiculous.
The other day, I was looking for, sometimes my meme design, I got to look for the right picture.
Yeah, it's very technical work.
And we're in like the last 20 minutes or so of the show, so I'll hide this for the however many people are watching. But I was going to try and find like a guy like walking out of his house and his wife being there and him like getting ready to leave. Mm-hmm. And he could be sad, happy, didn't matter, but it was the whole thing. I needed a guy getting his jacket on, about to walk out the door, and the wife's there.
Yeah.
And it was going to be the wife asking, "Hey, honey, where you going?" Him going, just don't agree with a lot of stuff going on in the government, so I'm going to go I'll let them know how upset I am by going for a walk. Like I'm going to walk around the block.
Walk around the block.
And hopefully
Protest.
by the time I get back, it'll change. That is protesting nowadays.
It is.
It's literally walking around in public, complaining, thinking that somehow that's going to jumpstart a process that's going to change the thing you're complaining about.
With signs of vaginas.
Now, when you look at the prevalence of social media in the world right now, specifically in America, people are having social media responses to real-world problems. Getting together and making signs and patting each other on the back and virtue signaling and support groups for virtue signalers.
Yeah.
This is a social media response to a real-world problem.
It is.
There are people who I love the fucking meme of the guy, the picture. It's like a famous picture of the boat, showing up to the beach to Normandy, and it said, the Million Man March didn't have many signs, and it was just a picture of that. Or the Million Man March to fight fascism didn't have many signs, and it was the picture of these guys storming the beach. Like, these are real world solutions.
Yeah,
like, these are real world solutions. If you're somebody who is against Trump, well, you have to live the life that promotes the society that you believe in.
Correct, yeah.
You could, I guess, overthrow the government. Like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I guess that's a thing, too.
How's that working out for Madonna?
How's that working out for you, old fucking whorebag?
Yeah.
But when you look at what these people are doing, by and large, it's virtue signaling.
Yeah. It's for likes and shares.
I had a girl that I went to high school with, and in my life, like, I'm not a big proponent. I've spoken about this before of men and women being friends. It's kind of hard for men and women to be friends because men and women bang, right?
Let me bang, bro.
Let me bang, bro. Right?
They do. They tend to do that.
Being that that's a hormonally, physiologically driven, instinct. It's not a good formula, on a large scale, to think that a man and woman being friends is going to be productive. It's one of the things about the show Friends.
Friends.
Like, all these men and women were friends, and
they all ended up fucking each other, though.
But it was a clusterfuck of what was accepted behavior, what wasn't. Like, it was impractical.
Yeah. Right? And even then, they still fucked each other.
Right. The thing that with this particular girl I went to school with, she was a friend of mine.
Yep.
And she and I lost touch. She moved to another part of the country. And years after I had lost touch with her, we found each other on Facebook, or I probably found her on Facebook through a mutual friend. I was like, "Oh, how's she doing?" And so she was doing well. Like, she was a friend of mine, like one of the few girls I've ever been friends with.
Yeah.
And the whole, this whole Million Woman March thing, apparently this is a thing she was into. So, being from New York City, there is a good chance, probability-wise, statistically, that if you have a friend who's from New York City, they're probably going to be liberal. So even if the friend moves to the other side of the country,
they keep it.
They keep it New York City style when it comes to politics. Anyway, one day, I don't know if I was busting her chops or something. I certainly, admittedly, initiated a...
No way.
It's true. Initiated some sort of... I just made like a wise-ass comment. Basically like busting her balls.
Yeah, sure.
And she reacted like super serious.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, she told me, she's like, you know what, you can go fuck off or something like that.
You're like, okay.
I was like, whoa, I wrote love trumps hate. Remember, love trumps hate. And,
Just made it worse.
and well, no, she actually was like, well, I don't hate you. This is not like something like, but you could still fuck off. But like put like a smiley face, so
Yeah.
it's like, all right, she's whatever. A couple days later,
Yeah.
now apparently, all right, well, let me not get to that. A couple days later, on some other post, on some other, I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram or one of these fucking things that I do, she wrote this whole thing, like out of nowhere.
Oh, so it's building.
You can go fuck off. I don't give a fuck about what you think. I'm like, and it was like, holy shit, which meant she's been creeping on my social media this whole time since that first interaction.
Yeah.
And it culminated in this just fucking explosion of fucking emotions.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at it, I'm like, you have people who are, and this isn't the first time it's happened to me. It's the nature of what I do, I guess. People who know me, like who legitimately know me,
Yeah.
who, because I have a different political opinion than they do, act like they've never fucking spent a day with me in their life. And it's baffling to me. So there are people who I know that I grew up with that are fucking just batshit crazy, or they're retarded, or they're weak, or they're just ignorant, or there's just a whole,
there's a list.
a whole list of people. But if I know them, then you know what? Like the miscommunication or the void that exists, the disparity in our understanding of one another, I'm not going to let dictate the relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I actually have a legitimate relationship. I actually have identified that they have traits that are admirable or worthy of maintaining some sort of connection. And when I see, what I see all the time is people on the left have absolutely no understanding of that concept. You have people. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and is a guy that I grew up with in my neighborhood, black guy, and he came by to just say what's up. He was in the neighborhood, and he and I were bullshitting for a while. My opinion, worst fucking politics imaginable this guy has.
Yeah.
Just a very, I would say, stereotypical black liberal reactionary type of politics.
Okay.
At one point I was, this is funny, I was talking about the value or the merits of the nuclear family and how it was based very much in function. And there was just a certain point where I realized that he just wasn't tracking what I was saying. But I remember saying, trying to recruit his understanding, saying, if you like Thomas Sowell has done a lot of work and writing about how the black nuclear family existed at a higher rate than the white nuclear family after slavery. I said, because it was a functional formula that they used productively and needed. And that's why, because of where their standing was in our society, why it was such a useful tool. And I was using it as an argument that I thought he would be able to connect with about the value of the nuclear family.
Yeah.
His reaction was, and that's why they burned their villages, and that's why they look to kill them. And it's like, we're not talking about that right now. That's not what we're talking about. But all that being said, so my point of bringing this up is he's somebody who I think just, critical thinking may not be his thing.
Sure.
But he knows who I am. He knows what I stand for. He knows what I'm about. We have one of these talks whenever he sees me.
Yeah.
Still comes by to say what's up.
Yeah.
Wishes me the best. Asks me about the wife and kids. See you soon. If I needed him in a jam, he'd be there, and vice versa. And there's a certain point where his disconnected or just different political position does not trump, no pun intended, his productivity and efficiency and function as a friend.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You don't see that on a large scale,
No.
He's somebody who's liberal, but he's an anomaly. He really is, because I've had so many people who are just completely emotionally attached to their political leanings and political philosophies, and have completely discarded any personal experience in the real world that they have with me. I remember a friend of mine. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, and his girlfriend. I've known him and his girlfriend 10 years at the time of this happening, and it was some random Facebook thing.
That's how it gets you.
Out of nowhere, she posts like this: "You are sexist, backwards." Like, holy shit. One of those things where the first thing you think of is not what she's actually saying, but you notice the venom in what she's saying, and you wonder, how long has she felt this way?
Yeah, like, where's the timeline
Like,
begin?
holy shit, this is a
building.
release, of something. And, my reaction to her was, you do realize you know me on a personal level, and I'm very good friends with your boyfriend, and you're just like, fuck all that.
Yeah, fuck all that shit.
Fuck all that. I'm just burning this bridge. I don't give a fuck. And it's fucking. Ultimately, I mean, good, bad, whatever. Ultimately, it's just ineffective.
Yeah, it is.
It's ineffective. We're at the point now where I'm almost ready to give up entertainment. Like, I'm almost ready to give it up, because the left has such a grip on everything that is our entertainment. It is almost hard to find a significant, impressive, entertaining show or movie or whatever that isn't just full of this progressive leftist fucking nonsense.
I would say that it's going to get worse before it gets better, because if they view that as their outlet towards rallying against the system, we're going to see a lot more shit heading towards that direction.
Right.
Did
Right, absolutely.
you watch Homeland yet? The new episode, scenes of Homeland?
No.
It's okay, but they have the female president-elect.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to position her as a anti-war. Like, she's saying she's not anti-war, but she might be. And it's interesting. I like it so far. It's interesting.
See, that's the thing, too. Talking about, we only have a couple minutes left. We'll end on this. The whole gay Star Trek character.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, can you believe they're making a gay? And I always said, well, wait a minute now. Gay people exist.
They do.
Are there motivations for putting a gay character in Star Trek because of the gay agenda? Might be. But are they going to write those plot lines? Because that's where they would fuck up. If you have, it's like one of the great things about Star Trek has always been that they can explore these very controversial issues.
Yeah.
Using representatives of the players of these controversies.
Without actually having to use them.
Without actually having to use emotionally associated, identities.
Yeah.
So people could see the debate without having to join their team.
Correct. Without having to have an emotional response to it.
Right.
Like the black-white face,
Right.
black-white face.
Oh my.
Oh my. That's funny. Oh my.
What was his name?
George Takei.
George the Gay. But see, the thing is, if you're following, like, if there's a gay character, all right, there's a gay character.
Yeah.
If you're using that gay character to explore the
New frontier.
human, right, the new frontier. Like, if you're using a gay character to create gay plot lines, that's not what Star Trek is about.
Yeah.
There was an episode of Star Trek Next Generation that explored this androgynous society and how Riker sort of started feeling for one of them. But it turns out that some people in that society were more masculine, some were more feminine, and sort of identified as being more masculine, more feminine. The one that was kicking it with Riker was admittedly more feminine, and it was a woman playing the alien race.
Sure.
But like, this is a Star Trek way to deal with these issues.
That is a Star Trek way to deal with it.
There was another episode where there was a society where the men and women's roles were reversed, but it was because everything associated with male and female roles were reversed. They had the male actors they used for this planet were like these little impish men, and they had these big, like, fucking 6 feet women.
Yeah,
and it was like the women were physically more commanding than the men, and the women were the men of that society.
Yeah.
And people were saying, see, women aren't, and it's like, no, you don't understand. If you change everything functionally, then yeah, the women would be that role. It makes perfect sense.
It does. It's science.
Until a human male made it to the planet and got himself a girlfriend, and then shit started finding that sweet spot of fucking reality. Swashbuckler came in and was like, "What's up, bitches? Quiet now. You're gonna wake up all the other bitches.
Look at me. I am the captain now."
But
yeah.
That's why. So the whole thing is like the female president in Homeland. Like, there have been female heads of state. Hillary could very well have won. And my whole thing, like, if people ask me, should a woman be a president? It's like, well, are you asking me? Are women capable of being president? Are you asking me which is more capable in a general sense, men or women? Are you asking me about a specific woman? It's like, you got to answer those questions because, I'm not going to be the guy that everybody's claiming I am. This judgmental, bigoted, prejudiced, that can draw, big scale, large scale conclusions off of small scale evidence. So, like, if there's a woman president, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll
if
see how it
there's
goes.
a woman president who Homeland is now being, monopolized as, following these anti-woman president plot lines, like, I don't have time for that because that's not what Homeland's about.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Me,
that's it. Me too. That's why I see where it goes. So far, so good.
The gay character on Star Trek, I don't have a problem with the gay character on Star Trek. Is the gay character going to talk about gay issues and gay struggles in the Star Trek universe? No, that's not Star Trek,
Correct, yeah.
Like, social issues is explored on Star Trek all the time, but using alien races, using these things that allow us the ability to look at the conflict without paying attention to the players. All right, guys, we're going to end there. Solid show.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of superhero shit.
Some superhero shit, yeah.
A lot of superhero shit. And Batman.
And Batman.
Greatest hero in the comic books ever, Batman.
They'll write him to have superpowers eventually. But he does have superpowers, see? He's an alien.
Then he'll be a trans superhero.
That's funny.
He's a hero who identifies as a superhero.
I identify as a superhero. I don't think Batman identifies as anything. He identifies as Batman.
Oh, God. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. You guys are awesome. ThePressureProject.com is our website. Info@ThePressureProject.com is our contact email. ThePressureProjectMembers.com is our membership site. Check it out. A lot of shit behind the curtain. I'm coming on the end of this whole sinus, head, jaw, chest thing. So stay tuned, hopefully within the next week, for my first episode of the TNG Power. And you can go to TNGPower.com within the next couple of days and find more info about that. But aside from that, I had a great time today. I look forward to talking to you guys again. And as always, brothers, pressure to power.